Hello? Are you there, Jodie?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Oh, hey.
Hi, yeah, I'm just prepping a couple of things.
Okay. I think so. I only went to the bathroom.
Okay, no worries.
Okay. I'll be back.
Oh, we're live, by the way. So now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, can you hear any music?
Back in a second. No. Oh, wait. No, not on the Discord.
Okay, don't worry.
Maybe it's on the...
It's on the YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. You got music. I'll be back in a second.
Okay, all over the bloody place here. Why are the speakers the real... Isn't that wrong? Alright, let's get it. Oops, is this it? Hear that. Dude, I don't know how to do this. Like, why is it like making a group? Can I do it about a group? Next. No, it's like one fat group. I don't want this. Okay. Okay, let me... I hear that music. I just don't know what's going on. Where's that thing? Why have they made a My Nintendo store? They made a My Nintendo store thing. Okay. Check mic, check 1, 2. Let's see, I'm not sure how this sounds. I thought we'd have some waiting music. Okay, let me put this on here so I can. Dude, I thought that was weird. Okay, I need that. I knew it. Oh yeah. Well, never mind. Hello. Hi Timor, can you hear me okay? I'm about to start. Okay, well, we can kind of stop that music now, right? Okay. I thought we'd have a little waiting room music now. If I can be heard, okay, please let me know. Genki's running a little bit late. He'll be here in a few minutes. But in the meantime, we can get started. Now, I didn't have that much time to prep. I was a bit late today, so... Excuse me. Ugh. Okay. Okay, I think Genki is going to be back in just 1 second. sent out a message to people to come.
Oh, hey.
Hey Genki, how you doing? You alright?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, good. My son's caught something,
Oh
so
no,
he woke up a bit. But yeah, I'll try to put him back to bed.
he's okay
It's
now.
okay.
Okay, cool. No worries. How you doing otherwise?
Oh yeah, been busy, but yeah, good otherwise. Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, I'm okay, thanks. Yeah, keeping myself busy as well, I guess. Just the usual. Not doing anything too exciting, but there you go. But we do have a lot of things to talk about this week, Genki. Because there was a good bit of news, right?
Okay, cool. Yeah.
We had there was the regular Famitsu sales. We have the Famitsu Top 100 for 2022. So yeah, last year's Top 100, which we can go over. We also have financial results from, well, there was a couple of publishers that did it, but I think we'll just go over Sony a little bit. Got some data regarding that. And yeah, Xbox raised their prices in Japan only in Japan. I'm not sure why it's only in Japan. I suspect they'll raise the price in other regions as well, but for now it's just Japan. Now I'm not sure about our sound levels, so Timo,
Okay.
let me know
Yeah, let us know.
if I'm too
You
loud
sound
or
okay.
Genki's too loud, or what the score is, because I'm not too sure at the moment. I did start off Genki. If you heard, I put like some
Uh-huh.
I put some Wii Shop music on because I thought let's have some waiting
We shop
room.
music.
Let's have some waiting room music. Yeah. Waiting room music. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Oh no, that's the wrong window. Well, it's the right thing, but the wrong thing. It's right, but it's also wrong. We have Famitsu regular sales here. Oh boy. So this was a good week, I think, for Famitsu. So actually, no. Okay, so 3 games that released flopped. 3 games flopped. Sorry if you can hear like motorcycles or whatever. I do live in the middle of London. I don't know why they're coming down my road though. Why are you here?
Like a big truck.
There's 2 schools on my road. There's a motorcycle. What are they doing? There's like 2 schools on my road. Right. So, is this visible on the screen, right? We're going to go over this. Yeah, Genki, there's 3 games that released that all flopped, unfortunately. And they flopped for various reasons that we can go over. The only one that didn't really flop was Story of Seasons, because it's basically a remake of a GameCube game. Is my understanding. It's not a brand new game. So although it's kind of like other entries in the series have sold a lot more, this is a remake. So obviously it's not going to sell as much, right? So that's what is the new release this week. I'm just going to look at the live feed. I'm looking at the live feed. You can see that okay on the screen, right? Let's use
Yeah, it's showing up. Okay.
Let's use
YouTube.
ye oldie Google Translate.
Timur. Hi, Timur. How's it going?
So Bokujo Monogatari is Story of Seasons, basically.
Yep.
Which, so it's kind of confusing because the name in the
Bokujo means farm.
That's like farm story or something, right?
Yeah.
So the name used to be different in the West. In the West, it used to be Harvest Moon. And then there was some rights issue or something. And there's another game now that's... I think it's made by Natsume or someone, someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But this one's marvelous. And I think that one is now called Harvest Moon in the West, but it's not this hard. This is the original Harvest Moon. I think it started on the Game Boy. So it's confusing, but it's now called Story of Seasons in the West, right? So anyway, so the Harvest Moon that you remember when you was a kid. This is it. This is Harvest Moon. But the other Harvest Moon is not Harvest Moon. All right. That's confusing. Oh, yo, did we get a subscription? Hang on, let me check. Did we? Oh, thank you to Somnia for subscribing. Thank you so much for the subscription.
Oh, nice. Do you have the panda still?
I believe so. Yeah, we can change it to something else if you want. But that's just like...
I like the panda.
Yeah, it's kind of cute. So let's look at these sales. Now, so the game that didn't flop, that was a new game that's at number 1, is Story of Seasons. As I said, this is a remake. It's a remake of a GameCube game. So, the previous brand new entry sold over 100k. So this is like obviously a lot lower than that. I think it sold over 100k. I have to check. But this is a lot lower than that. But this, I said, this is a remake. So for a remake, it's fine. And it sold through like 60%, as you can see here on the... It translates as digestibility, which is really weird. But it's basically like the sell-through rate of that. So that is at number 1. Now we're going to go on to the other games, because the other ones are pretty unfortunate what happened. So we'll get into that. At number 2, we have Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. That sold another 30,000 units. I did say what the first one sold, and that's 40,000 units. Sorry. I don't even know what I'm doing. Genki, what am I saying? Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, that's 37,000. Now, at number 3, we have a new game. This is Forspoken on the PS5, and this sold 29,000. So for kind of like my estimates, what I estimated what this was going to be, I thought it was going to be like 20 to 30. So this is at the upper end of what I thought. But unfortunately, this is still like a dismal flop. It's like, it's really bad. Like, I did get into it with a couple of people on Twitter yesterday who were trying to say, oh, it's not that bad. I'm like, no, it's bad. It's basically being at 30k means instead of being like, if it was like 20k or below, that would have been like an apocalyptic bomb, right? Instead of being an apocalyptic bomb, it's just an atomic bomb. Basically, there's no way you should have, a remake of Story of Seasons, old ass GameCube game, selling more than a brand new AAA game. That should not be. Which one do you think costs more to make and market? It's Forspoken. Unfortunately, this is a huge flop. It's a huge flop. To put it into perspective with this game, you need to think about, remember last year, do you remember Soul Hackers 2? Soul Hackers 2 sold, I think, 41,000 in its first week, okay? And that was a flop. They sold less than that. And this is a way more expensive game. So it's not, unfortunately, it's not looking good for Forspoken, because it seems to, this isn't just a Japan issue. It seems like this is going to get repeated, worldwide, unfortunately, with because we can already see it on Steam. In its, I believe in the first week it didn't even come in the top 10 on Steam. And then I think we got the UK. I think we got the UK uh, sales right. Did we?
I didn't see them, not yet.
I think we
Maybe,
did.
but was it Christopher Drink?
Christopher
I'm not sure. I
Dring
didn't see them.
normally tweets that out. Yeah. So yeah. So unfortunately, this is not. This is really not good. And I did. What did I write? Not that one. Uh, yeah. No, it's just me saying it's a. It's just it's bad as a flop. I'm gonna get into this other stuff in just a second though. So unfortunately, that's not. I mean, we was like really kind of expecting that to happen, right? So it was at the upper end of what we thought, right? But it's still bad. Like a game like that should by rights be selling over 100k. Now I compared it to, because it's a game, although it's a Japanese game, they kind of did aim it at a Western audience, right? So I kind of compared it to an action adventure game, right? That was a new IP at the time, that came out a few years ago, and that's Horizon Zero Dawn, which it's like an action RPG, right? And that came out, was it 2017? And that was over 100k. It was maybe it was 114, or was it 40? I can't remember. Uh, but yeah, but that is really what it should have been selling, in my opinion. What do you think, Genki?
Oh, for Spoken.
Mhm.
I think it like yeah. If you compare it with other games like on PS4, then yeah, it's a big flop. But if you compare it to like the PS5 exclusives only, it still didn't sell that great, but it did better than all the other PS5 exclusives. Yeah, and like if you take out all the PS4 sales, then it did okay. But yeah, in terms of the overall picture, yeah, it didn't sell great in Japan. But yeah, I don't think it was a game that's like was aimed at the Japanese market, to be honest, that
Mhm.
much.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think comparing it to other similar games like God of War or Horizon, like the newer ones, I think would be a better comparison point.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't think like 100k. That's like that's not realistic in this day and age. Like only Elden Ring did that,
Yeah.
like straight out the door. So yeah, that's not really. I don't think that's that realistic for this game because it doesn't have that same appeal as Elden Ring.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think it's just more like a drop off in PlayStation software sales in Japan. And yeah, if we take that into consideration, yeah, didn't do great, but it's like a bit better than the other ones. But yeah, and overall the numbers aren't that high for Japan. But yeah, I don't think they because like the sell through rate is like half or something. So I don't think they were expecting to sell like a crazy like 100k or something like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm. Yeah, they definitely
So
weren't. They definitely weren't expecting that. No.
yeah, they were. Yeah, I don't think they were expecting 100k. So yeah, but yeah, I think hopefully like the sales in the West can make up because there is a game aimed at the West,
Mm.
and yeah, I think it was a game made like in the kind of confused stage where they're like
Yeah.
they're like trying to aim at the West and trying to, yeah, or not, they were like not really sure of their identity
Yeah.
whilst developing that game, and it kind of shows in like this very like mixed the development. Like yeah, you got all these Western creators and Japanese creators, and they're not really working together. They're just like contracted in to help, and I don't know how well they're like really like synergizing together. It just seems like, oh, you guys write the script in the you Western guys write the script and write the music and stuff, and then we'll hand it to the Japanese guys, and then they'll do everything else. It didn't seem that it was that as collaborative as it could
Mm.
have been,
Mm. Yeah.
maybe.
That's a good way of putting
I
it.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, like maybe the direct. I'm not sure how much the directors and the writers communicated with each other, and if it was through like a middle person. Yeah, these kind of issues I think the game had, and also development, like the technical issues it turns out it has at the end. But yeah, I did pick up the game, and I've
Mm,
only played the beginning bit. Like I haven't got to the bit where it opens up more.
mm,
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it's not like the best game ever, but I don't think it was as bad as some of these reviewers
mm,
made out. And that's just my personal opinion.
mm, mm,
Cause like I still like the gameplay. It does. You have to be open to it though. Like you have to have like an open mind
mm.
to the game. Otherwise, it's quite easy to just hate on it, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I think the game did get a lot of bad rap because it wasn't just like you need to remember even before the demo, like the actual marketing itself was bad, and there was like some controversy about the marketing, if you'll recall. So I feel like there's a number of things
Oh yeah, that was bad.
that could have right. So yeah, so even if the game is not the best game in the world, they could have marketed it better, right? So unfortunately, even the marketing wasn't very good, and I think that already kind of maybe put some people off. And I think you're right that it was like in Square Enix's like confused era, because if you think about kind of like when they was developing this game, because people have kind of complained about dialogue and saying it's like that MCU type of Whedon-esque kind of writing. But if you think about when they would have written this, it would have been like they probably wrote this 5 years ago, when people were still like, people weren't fatigued with it back then. Now people are fatigued with that kind of writing and those quips and things like that. So I think that's just the result of like the kind of the shifting tastes, or something, if you kind of know what I mean. So because it just takes so much longer to develop games than it does to make movies. You can knock out movies like that, even like blockbuster movies are made within a year. So it just takes so much longer, that now by the time they've got this, and it was delayed multiple times as well, we don't know how many times it was delayed internally, but it was delayed. By the time they've got it out, people are fatigued with that kind of writing. I think that didn't help. And yeah, maybe I mean, we don't know exactly what happened, but maybe the writers and the developers didn't collaborate as much as they could have done, or they didn't, synergize, as you say. So it could have been a bit of that. Uh, but yeah, you know, from what we have over
Yeah,
the
it's definitely a very expensive production because
well,
they got all these like big names,
yeah,
like these top industry guys like Amy Hennings and Gary Witters and the music guys as well who did God of War. So yeah, I can imagine like the production was crazy, like hundreds of millions minimum.
so the rumor is that it was over 100 million just to develop, because somebody saw like somebody's LinkedIn profile that was working on it, and they put that it was $100 million. So, but
Oh damn, yeah,
I can't verify
makes sense
that,
though.
but it's believable, right? For when you see the game, and you know, uh, the amount of time they spent working on it. So I'm hoping that they'll, I think they'll break even on the game, but
Yeah, it's not like yeah, it doesn't seem like it'll make them a lot of profits.
it probably won't make them a lot of
Um,
profit. The problem is that like
yeah,
when you're spending
the
that amount of money, you don't want to be making just $5-10 million, right? They do it to
yeah.
make hundreds of
But
millions of dollars.
yeah, that's what they were doing with the Avengers games. They were
Yeah,
spending like hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and they were only making like 1 or 2 or 3 million dollars profit. So that's like really inefficient way to use your money to
so
make like a single figure or like less than 5% returns. So yeah, that's
yeah,
like not smart. So yeah, that's why they were like quite quick to get rid of those Western studios because like they weren't losing the money technically, or they were, but like they were like profitable, but the profits were they were said was like 3 or some like really low
It's
amount of
really low.
percent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that doesn't make sense. Oh yeah, and Square Enix released their financials. I saw
Yeah.
just quickly, and I think yeah most of the stuff is down, and yeah like the hardware. I mean the games, the HD gaming section, which is like the console games, that was down as well, and I think like I was thinking about it like making these games exclusive. I think Square Enix sees it as a way like a safety net for
Mm.
them.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they're so like they just take the exclusive deals so easily.
They take those
It's like
bags left, right, and centre, man. Just
yeah
any
yeah
bag, I'll take it.
yeah they need it. They just they don't want the risk. They're like really risk averse. So like yeah, if they're gonna make a big AAA game like Forspoken, then they rather have that bag from Sony just in case like the sales don't come up like probably what's going to happen, so like if they have that bag that's something they can fall back on, and that's probably why they're like so eager to take those exclusivity deals,
Yeah,
in my opinion,
and it's a
for
good
the
thing
big
they
titles.
did take a bag for this one. Good seeing how it's kind of turning out. But yeah, let's get into those financial results in a bit. We'll just finish up these Famitsu sales for this week or last week or whatever. So number 4, we have like last week's new release is Fire Emblem Engage. Sold another 28,000. So this had a second week drop of about 80%, which is normal for an RPG, but this game has had it sold out basically. It had like supply issues in some stores. So it probably could have sold more, to be honest, because the bar was already at like 80% last week. So then it sold another 28,000. So who knows how many are left? And yeah, so they'll be doing a second shipment of that, and this is pretty good considering that the voucher scheme heavily skews these games to digital. I noticed that they restarted the voucher scheme in the US recently.
Oh yeah, I saw that tweet that went up. Yeah,
The thing is,
yeah,
we've had it in the UK. Like I think like this whole
yeah. The
time
UK they didn't get rid of it,
they
right?
didn't get rid of it. No.
Yeah, in Japan, yeah, they've always had it. Yeah, just in America they had it like I think Mouse said it was like really briefly they had it like just for a couple of months, which
Oh,
is quite crazy. But yeah, I remember they got rid of it like a couple years ago.
right.
But now
Yeah.
it's back, which is good for people who like digital games.
Yeah. So you'll see that this voucher thing, it skews the sales so heavily towards the digital. Like we've seen it because once we get like the shipment numbers via the uh like the sets of white paper and everything, you can see what the actual shipment. And when we get the financial results from Nintendo, they will tell us, oh, it sold this much in in this region. Like when we got the number for Xenoblade 3, it was over 400,000 or so. It was like, yeah, it was well over 400,000. It might have been 480,000 or something. I can't quite recall right now, but yeah, it was a lot higher than what we saw in the chart, and it's just because it's like these games are skewing like 60-70% digital because of this voucher scheme. So especially like these high price ones. I mean, look, Fire Emblem Engage is 6,980 yen. You compare that to like Splatoon 3, 5,980 yen. So this is an expensive game. Expensive game, right? Not as expensive as Forspoken. Good lord.
Oh yeah, not as expensive as those
8,800 yen.
Sony JRPGs.
That's
Oh yeah.
expensive. Okay, so yeah, Splatoon 3 at number 5 sold another 14.8 thousand. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at number 6 sold 13,000. Oh my god, look how this translates. Okay, so we're going on to Disgaea 7,
Oh.
right? So very, very unfortunate Disgaea 7 like belly flopped, and I can tell you what I believe the reason why this happened. So we see here the Nintendo Switch version sold 10,000 and sold through about 60%. So yeah, I'll come back to that because we'll look at the other two, because there was a PS4 and a PS5 version, and we'll get into what happened with that. So number 8 is Minecraft with 8,000 units. Number 9, Nintendo Switch Sports with another 8,000. Number 10, Momotaro Densetsu with another 6,000. Okay, and then we have, so I'm not going to get into all of these. Obviously, we've got the perennial Gran Turismo 7 selling nearly 5,000 units via bundles, by the way. So, and then we have the other, we're going to go across the, oh yeah, I forgot there was that as well. The 100 hit, I think it's, what's it called? Eiden Chronicles, right? 100 Heroes game. Right, so Disgaea 7. Really unfortunate what happened with this. Now, first of all, to get some context, we need to know what the sales were for Disgaea 6, the previous game. And I believe I have it on here. Right. So, at the time I wrote this, we only had the top 10, right? And all I knew was that the PS4 and PS5 versions were not in the top 10, meaning that they had to have sold 12,000 or less, because the number 10 game was sold 6,000, right? So I didn't know what it was. The maximum they could have sold was 12k, which still be a huge drop, right? So for context, Disgaea 6 launched on the Switch with 23.5 thousand, on the PlayStation 4 with 15.7 thousand, right? So let's go back and look at Disgaea here. Where is it gone? Okay, so we've got the PlayStation 4 version sold 3,568. It's at number 15. Scrolling down. At number 20, we have the PS5 version selling 2,324. So that's below, or right around 6,000. Yeah, it's below 6,000. So that's below 6,000 for PS4 and PS5 combined. So this game sold, what was it? Yeah, around 16,000, right? It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So I'm going to tell you why I believe this is. Now, some people saying, oh, well, it's because people just don't like the game. It's a really bad game. Or they don't like they changed in sprites. I mean, they changed from sprites to 3D models in the previous game, and that had better sales than this one. And apparently, no, I don't play these Disgaea games, but people say that this Disgaea 7 improves on some of the things that people didn't like about 6. That's what I've heard. That's just word of mouth that I've heard. Now, what happened was, for whatever reason, NIS, that's Nipponichi Software, decided to take a marketing deal with Sony in Japan. Now, you need to remember about these Disgaea games, or these NIS games, they don't have simultaneous worldwide launches. So it launches in Japan first, and then we did get an announcement just recently, it was just the other day actually, of the Western release, which is going to be like later this year, right? And that's handled by their NIS America, which is their, obviously the Western branch. So all of the ads for this game, and I think I've got a better version of this as well. It only had PlayStation on it, all of them, all the ads everywhere that there was, which apparently there wasn't that many, so people complained about that. It only had the PlayStation logo on it, and it only said PS4 and PS5. I do have a better version of that. One sec, I think I've got it. hang on. I used to hide this screen for 1 second. I do a better version of it. Let me find it. I have to go into my private section. Oh, here it is. Can I open this?
Yeah, I didn't notice many ads around.
Yeah, so apparently there wasn't that many. That's part of the problem, right?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So let me open this in a new thing. Paste and go. Okay, so I've got a much better version of that ad. Or this one was up on the side of a building. How do I put this back on? Okay. So for there's a load of comments here. Genki, we've got these people in there. They're listening.
Oh, in the YouTube comments?
Yeah.
Yeah,
People turned up. Somnia, yes.
It right too. I don't know what.
Oh, because Somnia just subscribed, right? Remember, we got the alert.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is the ad.
The name, right?
This is from the official account. It's the official NAS account, right?
Oh, cool. That's in Shinjuku.
Ah, is that what it is? Yeah. So this is in the middle of Tokyo, right?
Yep.
And the ad, it looks like it's a PlayStation. Now, the average person seeing that is not going to think, oh, let me Google and see what platforms that's on. That's not what people do. People, you just see that, you think, what? They're like, oh, well, PlayStation exclusive. Oh, well, I won't be getting that game then. That's what Switch users think. And
okay, so PlayStation have the marketing.
They had the marketing rights for that game in Japan. I don't know about worldwide because there's a staggered release, as I said. But in Japan,
probably not.
They
Worldwide.
had so maybe not worldwide, but in Japan they did. So, not that bookmark. Where's the other one? The hell? Where's the one I was just looking at? Did I accidentally open it in the wrong thing? Oh yeah, get rid of that. Okay, so. This is what I said. I said that the marketing affected it, and in addition to that, as we've discussed, PS software sales have dropped dramatically. I hope this isn't too small on the screen. By the way, I should have made it bigger. Right? Sorry about that. Oh God, what have I done? That was the wrong thing. PS software sales have dropped dramatically, especially PS4 software sales, right? Which is the significant thing, is that it's still been games are still mostly selling more on the PlayStation 4. PS4 plus PS5 form just 10% of the market. So, and then this is like my opinion. Genki, you can tell me what you think about this. In addition, those gamers still on PlayStation are hardcore gamers, and they're more looking for high-end games, especially if you're a new PlayStation 5 owner. You're like, oh, what are the high-end games? So I feel like mid-tier games like Disgaea 7 do not do as well for that reason. And the other thing that I wanted to say is that something like this happened before in the past. I don't know if you remember this, Genki, but like, I think it was in 2021 or 20? It might have been 2020. There was a game called Scarlet Nexus. Remember this, Genki? That Microsoft had the exclusive marketing rights for that game worldwide, and it was similar to this situation where it was all the logos, everything, all the advertising just said Xbox. So people in Japan, because Xbox is so because it's got such a small presence there, they kind of assumed it was a Xbox exclusive, and that just made the overall sales go down, because it basically means that people on the other platform, they're just not aware. You just assume, oh well, that's exclusive, I can't get that game, and then the sales are not good on the platform with the marketing rights anyway. So I think that's what's happened to Disgaea 7 and why these sales are so far down. I mean, it's like really and apparently this game is better than 6. So I think NIS made a bit of a whoopsie. What do you think, Genki? I got the wrong thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that's a bit. Yeah, they should have marketed it on all platforms, or maybe focus on the Switch, which would have helped the sales a bit better. Yeah, because as you said, it's quite shocking to see like such low sales numbers for that game. Um, yeah, so yeah, it's a shame that it flopped. Like especially on the PlayStation platforms, it didn't sell as good as it could have done overall. So yeah, I think if they lent into the Switch more, then the sales could have been a lot better.
Yeah, it's really, really unfortunate for that because this guy's not a big franchise. It's not like a really, really big. It's like really niche. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to point out, Genki, which is like I don't know
Oh, what's
why
that?
they did this. They this guy is like a strategy RPG, right?
Oh yeah,
What did it release right next to? Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem. Oh, the timing was not great.
That's not great.
Yeah.
Why did they release it right next to Fire Emblem, also a strategy RPG? I don't understand why they did that. So that affected
Oh yeah,
things. Because think about if you're on the Switch, you're like, well, am I gonna get
Fire
uh
Emblem or
or this
Sky.
guy? Because people that haven't got unlimited money. That's the other thing. People that have unlimited money and they have to
Yeah,
choose what they're gonna get.
all time.
So I don't know why they released it right next to Fire Emblem. I really don't. But yeah. So I'm hoping sales can pick up for that game. We'll have to see what happens. Uh, maybe there can be some good word of mouth on the game. So we're gonna go on to your comments in a second. There's just one more other game. Oh no, there's a couple more that I wanted to talk about. Where's the right window? It's not that one. So yeah. This one, it's kind of funny situation. Okay, so if you remember this 100 Island Chronicles, right, was a quick Kickstarter that is like a spiritual successor to Suikoden, although like Konami, like Loki or Mikey, I don't know, they're like, hey yo, let's bring that back, let's do remasters. So they just conveniently they're coming out with remasters of Suikoden. But anyway, so there was a Kickstarter from some of the original Suikoden developers, right? And the main game, so this isn't the main game, this is like a spin-off of the main game. They did a spin-off game first, and then they did like the main game, I think is going to release maybe later this year. The main game, where that one's like an RPG where you can recruit like many different party members. This is like the action RPG spin-off. Now, this game did release on PlayStation. It's not in the chart, right? Only the Switch version charted. It's not. This game was already released digitally like last year, so this is like a physical. That happens sometimes with digital games, right? You get a physical later. So this is like collectors are going out and buying this. And the funny thing is that at the time when they first did this Kickstarter, there was no Switch version planned of the games. They didn't plan a Switch version at all. They said, oh, maybe it'll be on Nintendo's next system. And this Kickstarter was like 2 years ago or something. And they're like, well, we're putting it on Nintendo's next system. Well, we ain't even got wind of Nintendo's next system. Who knows when that's going to be? But anyway, they wasn't going to do it. And then eventually, I think this is after we saw like repeated things, games coming out that look kind of similar, like AA RPGs coming out with just selling like gangbusters on Switch. Like some of the HD 2D games and stuff like that. And then in the end, they did, okay, we'll add a Switch version, we'll put it on Switch. And yeah, I don't. They wasn't even going to put it on Switch in the first place. So it's a good thing they did, because this one charted. Whatever the PlayStation version sold, it was below 1,600. So we don't know what that sold. But that's fine for a game that was already released digitally. So yeah, and they already got the Kickstarter funding. So it should be fun. And people, to be honest, people are really looking forward to the main game, not this one. Although this one's okay, I've heard. The main game, I think it's later this year. And then we got the bundles, obviously Horizon Forbidden West. Now the other game I wanted to talk about is this summertime rendering. Although I think it's summertime render in Japanese, I guess, but yeah, they call it summertime rendering in English. So this was an anime that was it was last year. I started watching it via extra legal means because I'll tell you why. Because it's locked in Disney Plus prison. I had to liberate it. That's where it is. It's really good. I started watching it, but for some reason I got distracted by something, and then I lost the thread of what's going on because there's all sorts of weirdo time travel stuff, and if you don't watch it all the way through in one go or whatever, you just can't remember what happened. So I'm going to start at the beginning again. But anyway, this is as far as I know, this is a visual novel developed by Majors who do what they call the science adventure games, like Steins Gate and all that. They haven't been doing too hot recently, actually. Majors, I don't know, they have not been doing too hot, so this isn't helpful. So what some people were saying, they were saying because the anime was in Disney Plus prison, that it affected the sales of this, but apparently it did also air on TV in Japan. Now I have no idea. Okay, this is just what some people said. Oh, it did air on TV in Japan, like on regular television, and then it was on streaming services after that. I don't know, but the game didn't do too well, and there was a PlayStation version that did not chart. So that's it for the software sales. I wanted to go over. Unless there's anything else you wanted to comment on, Genki.
No, I think that was...
Like, do you want to go into why the hell are people buying FIFA Legacy Edition on the Switch? Why are they dumb?
Yeah. There's 2,601 people.
I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know why they're buying that. Maybe the World Cup finished ages ago. I don't know why they're buying that game.
Yeah.
I guess there's no alternative, I guess, like for football on the Switch. Like, unless you get the Mario Strikers.
Mario Strike was not really football though, is it?
Yeah. It's not. Yeah, it's not. So I have no idea why I got popular again. Maybe because there's
no alternative, as you say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the sell-through wasn't great on those PS version of Disgaea 7, unfortunately. Yeah. So
on the PlayStation,
unfortunately, so that's everything I've said here is just my own opinion as like why certain games have not done as well. It's my opinion. Okay, it's just opinion of what I think. That's what I think happened with Disgaea 7. I definitely think that marketing affected it, because it's just such a huge drop off. Like when the games just drop off a cliff like that, it's just so weird. Yeah, we'll get into the hardware in a minute. Let's look at the comments, Genki.
Oh, okay, cool. What's that? Roche says, I hope this sales doesn't foreshadow the upcoming ones for Final Fantasy 16 in Japan. Well, yeah. I think it'll be completely different because Final Fantasy 16 is a game, like a franchise that is actually has a big fan base. Like, it's not as big as like Dragon Quest or some other Japanese games, but still, like, the Final Fantasy franchise is really big in Japan, and it's not like unknown new IP like Forspoken. So Final Fantasy 16 will definitely be the best selling PlayStation 5 game when all is said and done. And there's a lot of hype already for the game in Japan, like with users online and stuff. So yeah, I don't think this Forspoken situation will be an indication of Final Fantasy 16 sales. And also like the stock for PS5 is improving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think it won't be like 1 million like people are saying. Even like 500,000 is pushing it. Like, but
dude,
it won't sell 30k.
7 remake and 15 didn't open at 1 million. So this
Yeah, yeah, they opened at like 700, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I think for 16, I think if it can open at 300, I'll be happy. Like, and then like if it can sell like 500,000 altogether, that would be good for Japan, considering there's only like 2.6 million PS5s in Japan. Or in Japan,
Allegedly.
air quotes. Yeah. Air quotes in Japan. Yeah, so I think yeah, like overall, yeah, it won't reach a million, unfortunately, because the install base is not high enough. Hopefully, like the PS5 install base can get to like 3 or 4 million. So it's at 2.6 now. So hopefully by June 22nd, which is the Final Fantasy 16 release date, it can get to like hopefully like 4 million or like at
Mhm.
least 3 million is a lock on. So maybe like 3.5, 4 million. If we
Yeah,
can get to that, that'll be good.
yeah,
Then that could mean like Final Fantasy 16 could sell up to like 500,000, like not first week, but like lifetime. Also, I hope.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it will be a big attach rate because that's the game like that most people are looking forward to from on PS5
yeah,
in Japan.
yeah.
Oh, okay, and then Spencer's here. Hey, hello, hello,
Hi, Spencer.
hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Says and good to see Spence. Game Killer 64. I was surprised when we got the voucher again in the States. It's not a bad deal. I'll probably use it for Breath of the Wild and something else. Oh, that's
Mm.
good. Yeah, and the good thing with the voucher program, like you can save the other one. You don't have to use both at the same time. So you could get Breath of the Wild and then you could wait till Tears of the Kingdom and
Oh,
then
you don't
use
have
the
to.
second one on that.
You don't have to use them both at the same time.
Uh,
Oh, I
you
didn't
can
even know
store
that.
stock. You can stock one. Yeah, so you could use them whenever. Yeah, that's how it works in Japan. So I imagine how it works everywhere. Or
Mm.
hopefully that is. Yeah, I think you can stock one, and it's just tied to your My Nintendo account.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I've
so
never
yeah, I
used
don't
it.
usually buy digital games, but
Me
I
neither.
did like for games like I play all the time, like Pokemon. Like sometimes I'd like to have it digitally or Smash or
Yeah,
Mario Kart,
yeah,
because like you just want to slide it up whenever you don't know. Yeah, but if it's like a store single player game, like one and done kind of game, then I don't like to buy the digital.
yeah.
But that's just me. Um, then we'll cut to one. Square Enix dying. Oh, okay.
I, I can't. I wouldn't go that
Yeah,
far, Cat. Come
I
on,
wouldn't go that
man. I wouldn't
far.
go that far. No,
Yeah, they're
they've
not
had some
dying.
missteps, but not dying.
Yeah, I think their games aren't selling great at the moment, so it's not like a Capcom situation where
Mm.
Capcom is like they're constantly selling really well their games. Square Enix is kind of like the last year was kind of a quantity over quality situation.
Yeah,
I would
man.
say they had like a lot of games, but they didn't really hit that big. Probably like Crisis Core was likely the best-selling one from last year, but all the other
Yeah,
ones like they had a lot of flops as
yeah.
well.
Like, do you remember that Deerfield game that just completely belly
Oh yeah,
flopped?
yeah, Field,
Apparently,
yeah,
it wasn't
Strangers.
that bad though. Apparently, it wasn't like it was a
Okay.
bad game or anything.
Oh
It just
yeah,
didn't market it very well. That's what I think
mm.
happened.
Yeah. So I think they're definitely waiting for Final Fantasy 16. That's gonna be like hopefully revive the financials for Square
Yeah,
Enix,
yeah,
and of course like remake or rebirth.
yeah.
So I think they're waiting for those big hitters, and then hopefully they'll have a few more announcements, maybe like the I don't know, Final Fantasy 9 or
Ooh.
I think they're just gonna I think they're just gonna switch like from last year this like shotgun approach of like releasing loads of games. They're just gonna stick to what works, which is like Final Fantasy
I hope
and the other
so.
big franchises.
I
I
hope
think we're
so.
gonna see that shift this year, in my opinion. Because like yeah, those games that all those games they released last year, they were decent games, but none of them reviewed that well, and they didn't set the world alight, I would say. I mean, it's not like they're all complete flops, but in terms of like, they didn't make that much money
Yeah.
for Square Enix,
Do you know what I
which is a
think
shame.
Square Enix needs to do? They need to
What's
get
that?
they need to get rid of that President Matsuda.
Oh yeah,
He
get
has
rid of
just been
them.
making some terrible decisions,
Yeah.
and he
I
apparently
have to put
Forspoken.
Yoshi P as president.
No,
Oh, no, no, I'm
Yoshi
joking.
P's
Not
too
as president.
busy, not as president.
Yeah, he's
Like,
too easy.
apparently, like that Forspoken was like his pet project. This is what people have said. It
Oh
was like
really?
his.
Oh
It was like
no.
his. He was, yeah,
Yeah.
and he's the one that's
Then
going
he
into all
like
his NFTs and all this nonsense.
terrible. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they need a better business guy making decisions at the top. Yeah, focus on what works. Focus on the Japanese stuff that's getting like Japan. Like there's a Japan boom happening around the world, and they're going on focusing on Western, like faux Western games. It's like no, you have to stick to the Japanese stuff that works and that people love Square Enix for. Yeah, people don't love Square Enix for Western games. You know, they
Well,
like
yeah,
Square Enix for the Final Fantasies and the Dragon Quests and Kingdom Hearts of this world.
faux
And
Western.
yeah,
Is that what Forspoken
yes.
is?
So,
Faux
huh?
Western.
Oh, yeah, because it's trying to be a Western game, right? Like, but
Yeah.
it's made by Japanese developers. Because um, but yeah, um, I think like the gameplay is really good though. Like I like the gameplay, just like the
Mm, mm,
writing and the story and the characters
mm,
and
mm.
environments. I'm not the biggest fan of, but yeah, I do enjoy the gameplay of Forspoken. So yeah, just stick with that. And like the magic effects are really awesome, and like the traversal, like the magic parkour, is really cool.
Yeah.
It's just like the things around it which I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah. Sure.
and then there's loads of comments from Game Killer 64. It's unfortunate about this I7 sales. I'm still ready to get that game.
Mm,
Oh, that's cool.
mm. Yeah.
And he says the marketing tactics were at their worst, especially considering how much the Switch owns the market share. Yeah, yeah.
Mm, mm.
Yeah, I think you posted that it was like 90%, right? Last year, Switch. So, yeah, 90% of software sales are like Switch in Japan. So it's not smart to focus just on that 10% if you want
Mm, mm.
maximum sales for your multi-platform game. Yeah. Then Spencer says extra funny after NSI America flopped hard with D6 in the West as it launched as a Switch exclusive here.
Mm, mm. Did it really?
Ah,
Did it really
that's
flop
funny.
that? Did it flop that hard, Spencer? I don't know what the sales were. Let us know if you have some insight into that, because I have no idea what
Yeah,
the sales were in the West.
I don't know about this Gaia series that much. Like, if the previous games were also marketed with Sony as like PlayStation as well, so they
They
just kept it going.
were. So the series, I think it started off on Sony platforms, and
Oh, okay.
there may have been marketing with them, but because it's got the split thing of like they have the split release, that's why they have different marketing. And like Spencer said, like this guy's six was. Well, at first it was only on the Switch in the West, but it was on Switch on PS4 in Japan. But then it came out on PS4 in the West. So I don't know. They're doing some weirdo stuff with like
Hmm.
NIS needs to get it together, man. Like, why are they
Yeah,
doing all these different weirdo things? Like, come on, man. Anyway, it's affected their
yeah,
sales with the stuff what they're doing. I don't
yeah.
know.
Some of these like smaller, more traditional Japanese companies, they don't make the best like decisions, business decisions. Yeah, maybe some of
Unfortunately,
it's based
not.
on like loyalty or
Mm.
tradition, but it's not
Well,
like the
yeah. There's that
smartest business
whole.
ones.
I remember someone asked me about this before, about the what was it called? About this. Some companies having some. This is because what you need to remember is like they don't make the best decisions because at the end of the day they're run by humans, but they make people, and people don't always make the best decisions. So they can do stuff where it kind of flies in the face of like, maybe what might be more logical to do, and that can include them having relationships with other people in the industry, right? So there, for some companies there was some kind of like loyalty thing going on, And yeah, it's been. I won't go into it now. 'Cause I haven't got all the stuff in front of me. In fact, I might have it saved on my. I forgot what it's called now. I might have it saved on my thing, on my book, on my forum account. But yeah, there may have been some of that going on. But yeah, it's like in Japan now, if you are one of these smaller developers, like if you do not go multi-platform, then your sales are not going to be as good. So there was certainly some where they weren't getting a bag from Sony to pull it. No, in fact, you know what? Right, I remember like I think it was the president or someone at NIS like called out Sony on some. This was years ago. Said something about Sony wasn't helping them or something, and then they had to apologize afterwards. I forgot.
Okay.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
I'm just remembering this now.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah,
something
that
like
makes
that. Anyway, I need to. I haven't got all that stuff in front of me now, so I can't
sense. Oh,
lie.
yeah. Yeah, you can look it up next time. But
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. Like, yeah, because like last 2 years, Sony like not really been helping the software situation in Japan. Like there was 2 years where there was no PS5s available, and there were no new PS4s as well. So like basically the market was like starved for like PlayStation consoles for like 2 years. So yeah, that wasn't
There
great.
is now. We're gonna go into the hardware in just a sec. It's been a big improvement in the PlayStation 5 sales.
Okay, yeah. So just read out the rest of the
Go
comments.
for it.
Game Killer 64. As much as I want Advance Wars to release, hopefully they can wait until March so most people can finish Fire Emblem Engage. Disgaea 7 really should have been released last year, but I still would have been tough. Okay, yeah. I want Advance Wars to get released ASAP, but yeah, yeah, having two intelligent systems. I know the remake is not made by Intelligent Systems, but it's based on the old game. But yeah, two like similar games at the same time
Yeah.
is like also close. Because if they do shadow drop it, which I like looks like they will do
I think they might.
at the direct.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's already done. So I think there was, which yeah, I've been looking forward to that game for a lot, like yeah,
For
a
years,
year.
84 years.
84 years. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'll be happy if it releases as soon as possible. But yeah, I understand if people are still playing Fire Emblem Engage, then
Yeah.
maybe they're not have the time. He also says, "Wow, I didn't even know there was a summertime render game."
Well, there
I haven't seen
is.
the anime,
And
but
you know,
it's,
Game
yeah,
Killer, you need
sounds
to get it
cool.
out of your head now because now that game flopped, there ain't no way they're localizing that.
Oh,
So unless
yeah.
you can already read Japanese, and I don't think they're
Go
gonna
learn
release it in the West.
Japanese.
Go learn Japanese
Yeah.
and get
It'll
back.
probably
Get
come out before then.
yeah, you probably learn it before it comes out.
Yeah. We're probably faster to learn Japanese than to wait for it.
Basically, yeah.
No, joke. Okay, and then it says, I blame the football anime. Oh, that came out last year. Blue Lock. And for the FIFA sales. And that makes
And the World
sense,
Cup.
I guess.
Good emoji
World
use.
Cup.
I approve.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any
That's
of those.
amazing.
I don't really watch like
Got a ball.
sports anime. Do you, Genki?
Oh, yeah. Sports, no. Anime, no. Yeah. I've seen some in Azuma 11, and
What happened to
I
that
haven't
game?
seen. They should have showed those in I know in Spain and stuff they showed Captain Tsubasa, and all these Spanish and Italian footballers grow up idolizing
Oh, really?
Captain Tsubasa. But in the UK they didn't show it, so they're just uncultured.
No, that didn't.
British TV people.
No, that never aired here.
Uncultured. Yeah,
No,
but we did have
but-
Dragon Ball, so yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
we had
But
Dragon Ball. and that
no,
sort of
Captain
thing.
Tsubasa, what were they doing? I'm like, come on. Yeah, what were they doing?
They had
Anyway.
Shin-Chan here. I remember that.
Oh yeah, it's at Shintan. That was cool. Yeah, so yeah, that makes sense. Maybe because the World Cup hype, and Japan,
Yeah.
they don't have Japanese teams, J League teams in FIFA, but they do have the national team. So maybe it's just because of that.
Didn't they get quite far in the World Cup? Is that what happened?
Yeah, they did okay. They not as far as they've been before. Like I think they got to the quarterfinals or something.
Right.
Not the semi-finals, but yeah, I think they got to the quarterfinals. And yeah, everyone was excited uh, in Japan. But yeah, and then he says Square Enix probably going to have a strong year with FFT Theatre Rhythm, Final Bar Line, FF16, and if Rebirth comes out this year.
And Octopath Traveler
Yeah,
2!
so
You forgot!
yeah, Octopath Traveler 2. Yeah, that'd be good too. Yeah, I think they'll have a much better. Oh yeah, definitely much better year. Like just Final Fantasy 16 alone will make it a much better year
That
than
will.
last year.
And when's that come out again? June. June. So
22nd.
that's right before the end of like the well, no, not the end of the financial year, before that quarter, I guess. So it's in the next financial year, is that right? When is it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it ends in April or March, end of March.
Right, okay.
New one starts in April.
So it's,
Yeah.
it's the next one. Yeah.
So yeah, so next year will be like probably 2 times better than this year. Just with Final Fantasy 16 sales in the West. Yeah, I think it'll be much better. Not Final Bar Line. I don't think will be a big seller. Do okay. I mean, it's like basically a 2D game, right?
Yeah, it's a rhythm game, right?
Yeah, it's a rhythm game, so
Yeah.
it won't be a big seller, but yeah, it's super fun. Like I've been super addicted to that game. I've played like nearly all the songs in the demo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really good. It's really cool. If you like Final Fantasy music, I recommend Theatre Rhythm.
I mean, I do like some of the music. I'm just not good at rhythm games. There's only one rhythm game that I really liked. That was so fun. That's called
What was that?
Super Beat Sports. Super Beat Sports is what it's called, and it's so because you can play it co-op. But it was honestly, it's so funny that
cool.
like when you're laughing so much you can't catch your breath because of how funny it was. Because when you're co-op, you have to stand on each other's head and you're hitting a ball's coming towards you and you're hitting it with like a racket or something, right? And you have to hit it in time to the beat, and you've got to do it in co-op and only hit your colour, and then the other person's doing their colour, and then sometimes you have to get on each other's head. They use a swappo. That game was so fun. Super Beat Sports. I recommend that. But that's the only rhythm game where I'm like, oh my god, this is so. I'm just not.
What's that on?
I think it's on everything. It was on Switch when I played it, but it's on all platforms, I believe. It was made by the same.
What did you check those Hidance of Cairo or whatever? What's that game? Cadence of
Cadence of Hyrule. Yeah, they made like a Zelda version of that. What was that game called?
Yeah, that one.
That one.
I don't know.
No, mine's gone blank. What was it called?
I know there's other versions called Cadence of Hyrule, but I don't know what the original one was called.
It's called like a Crypt of the Necrodancer, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's it.
Something like that. Yeah.
Good one. Okay, is it similar to that sports game?
No, it's nothing like that at all.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know.
Super Baseballs is so fun. Super Baseballs. I believe it was made by the studio that made like the Guitar Hero games or one of those games, but they recently got bought by Epic. I think Epic bought them. So Harmonix, yeah, that's it. Harmonix. They made it.
Oh, okay. So it's like a proper rhythm.
It's a proper rhythm game. It's so fun. Honestly, that Super Beat Sports, you've got to play it to see what I mean. The moment you have to do that, and then you have to stand on the other person's head, and it gets so hard. I couldn't. Genki, it's so funny. Okay. It's so funny.
In real life, okay.
Yeah, I'm not even joking.
That's cool. Yeah, rhythm games are cool, but yeah, I'm not good at them. I can't do like the expert modes, like where people like going crazy.
Yeah, it's really, they get so tough, those games. But some people have a talent
for it. In
for
Japan, people love the rhythm games, especially on the mobiles. Like on the trains,
mobile?
people are playing rhythm games.
People be playing it on mobile?
Not that game, just other rhythm games, mobile ones in Japan. But yeah, anyway. GameKiller64 says, Yoshi P has my vote for CEO after 16 and went 14 in service. Okay.
Well, that means like 25 years.
14's like gonna go on for like another 10 years. So.
At least, minimum. I don't think Yoshi
Yeah,
P is going to go on for that long. I mean, he's getting on, you know what I'm saying?
He's still very young. He's like late 40s, I think.
No! There's no way he's late. Genki, he's not late 40s! No way!
It's not.
No!
I have no idea.
Look how old he looks! How can he be late 40s? You lost your mind!
I have to check this. No, I think he just works hard, so he just looks older.
No! He's got to be at least in his 50s.
He's 49. So yeah, I was correct.
Oh no, you're right.
1973. 49.
What?
So yeah, he's 49.
But
No, it's like Kitase and those guys. Those guys are old. Like Yoshi P is like a more newer. Like, compared to those.
How does he look so crusty?
He doesn't sleep.
It must be that. It must be working really hard. Oh wow!
Yeah,
I didn't realize he was that. I didn't realize he was that young. That's not even like low key. That's not even that much older than me.
It's not as old as like Kojima or something. Kojima's like.
Oh yeah.
Like,
he looks super young.
Really old.
But he looks young, right?
Looks young.
How old is he?
Yeah. I don't know. He's like 60 or.
No.
65 or something.
No, he's not 65. Get out! I'm googling that right now. There's no way he's 65.
Yeah, Google it and tell me how old he is. What did he get?
No way he's that old. I've googled the wrong thing. I meant age. Yes, thank you correcting. 59.
Oh, okay.
He's 59.
As old as I said. He's not.
Dude, he's nearly 60.
65. He's nearly 60 though.
He was born 24th of August
Oh,
1963.
his birthday's quite close to me.
And when's your birthday?
Same. As private information.
No, not the year, just the date.
Huh?
The date. Is it in August?
Date.
Your
Yeah,
birthday's in
end of
August.
August.
End of okay.
End of
That's what I was
August,
asking, not the year. Oh my god. Yeah, he's 59, so he's like 10 years older than Yoshi P, but yeah.
I don't mind disclosing my year, but just the date I don't want to disclose.
Okay, it's fine, no worries. Right. Well, yeah, okay, we'll get the rest of these comments in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, everyone don't forget to hit the like button please, and share out this stream. On my thing, wait, hold up. My Twitter, I tweeted it out. So let me get, you could please retweet. Please retweet my tweet. The tweet. Of that we're live. I should have done this earlier.
Hey, Kai the player. He says before the second quarter and my bad. Oh, we're just talking about the quarters, like when they start. Yeah, it's the financial quarters, so it's different from like the release, like the yearly release quarters that you would get from game companies. Yeah, it's more like the financial year, which starts in for Japan. It starts in April,
Right.
and then ends in March.
Why can't I paste?
Yeah, and then the quarters are based on those 3-month periods from then. But yeah. Yeah.
Please tweet.
Okay.
Please retweet. Right.
Game Killer says, best believe I didn't forget about Octopath 2. I'm ready to get my collector's edition. Oh, nice collector's edition. Yeah, I don't think I can afford any more collector's editions this year because I already bought the Final Fantasy 16 one and I bought the Pixel Remaster one. So that's like $600 or something. Yeah, I can't buy any more collector's editions. Oh, if they did a Zelda one, then I'm finished. I'm like, and they KO'd me.
Genki, you know they'd be doing a Zelda special edition. Come on.
Oh my god!
They
They will.
I
I missed the Breath of the Wild one.
Yes, me too. I missed. I missed that. Quickly, I had a question in Discord from Quick. I don't think that's how you pronounce your name. I'm not sure. Is it possible to ask a question for the show through Discord? Yes. So you can either just type it in our Discord where you are now, or you can come on with us live. If you go in the waiting room, then you can come on live. But if you don't want to talk, that's fine. You can type the question, and I will put a. This is how disorganized I am. I should have this link and everything already.
Day 2, red card
Red card.
for that comment. No, joking.
Oh, Forspoken! Oh, do you remember? Do you remember? Do you
Look at
remember?
the sin bin.
Genki,
And
Genki,
the sin bin.
Genki. Do you remember Soul Floppers 2? Remember that? You don't remember? No? Where's he gone?
Sorry, I was yeah, I remember that. That was your thing, like
That wasn't.
Soul Floppers.
That was Chris Righteous who came up with Soul Floppers 2. It wasn't even
really?
me. Yes, it was Chris
Okay.
Righteous.
He made it up and then he put it on you.
He did. He made it seem like it was me that did it. Yeah, that collector's edition. Same with Genki. Like, I bought Doctor Path 2 collector's edition. I bought the Final Fantasy. I don't want to talk about that Final Fantasy 16 one. That was expensive. Expensive AF. It was very expensive. Yeah. I don't know why I bought the one with the statue in it, because what I'm gonna do with that big old hulking statue, I don't know. Maybe I'll sell it. Yeah, so, oh my god, I can't believe that game's coming out this month. So that's exciting. What is this? What kind of player? What's all these numbers here? 1 to 3, 4 to 6.
He's talking about the quarters for like the financial stuff, like the months.
Oh, okay, I see. Oh, Quick, you're so polite and nice. If it's not too much of a bother, can I come live? Of course you can. Of course you can, Quick. Join the waiting room. If you join the waiting room, then I will put you into the on-air room when we're ready. So, yeah. So go ahead.
Game Killer 64 says rhythm games are my second favourite genre.
Oh, really?
Apart from RPGs. Can't get enough of them, especially on my Vita and Switch.
Yeah, good.
Oh, that's cool.
Good
Yeah.
platforms for rhythm games. There was a lot. I think there was a lot on the Vita as well.
Yeah, it seems like handheld is better, right, to play them? Because like I'm playing Theatre Rhythm and I much prefer it on the Switch because it's like handheld. And like you can easily like see the timings right because it's right in your face.
That's true. Yeah. I think maybe those style of games suit it. I know they used to have, like, when they had Guitar Hero, it was an actual like plastic guitar, wasn't it? That they made for those games.
Oh my god! You remember they had like this DS peripheral that you could put in, and then,
No.
like, your DS would have a guitar
What?
buttons. It was funny.
A DS?
remember
A Guitar Hero thing for the DS? How did that work?
Yeah.
I need to Google that.
Oh my god! You should check it out. Yeah, it's funny. It's like a peripheral that you put into. I think it was a DS probably, and then like your DS becomes a Guitar Hero guitar.
Okay, I had to mute myself whilst I look it up because the typing's loud. Let me see images. Oh, it actually was a thing that went onto the side. What? That went onto the side of the thing?
Yeah, I remember. Like, I used to work in game in UK.
Oh,
like,
really?
For, a little bit, and like, yeah, I remember those were the other things.
Look
we
at
used to
this.
sell.
Yeah, this is what you're looking at, right? This is what you're talking about, right, Genki? This oh, I've got it on the screen now. It's like buttons that you attach to the side of the DS. Is that what it is? That's wild.
It hasn't popped up on YouTube yet, but
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I'm looking
yeah,
at. I'm assuming this is. I didn't know this was a thing.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. With those buttons on the side. Then like you could use. I think you would. Yeah.
That's wild.
Maybe you could use the stylus as well.
Yeah, in this
Sorry?
picture here, unless it's in the picture, this is a video. It looks like somebody's using like a stylus with it.
Oh yeah.
Hold it on the side.
It's funny, right?
Lord.
That's a good collector's item,
Probably it's really cheap actually. Because eBay one was okay. They're selling that for $23.99.
Oh, yeah, it's probably like all
$8.99.
the Guitar Hero stuff has become like
Cheap,
what's it?
right?
Yeah, like throwaway.
Yeah. So unfortunately, it kind of like I think they oversaturated the market with those Guitar Hero games. I think is what happened.
Yeah, for sure. Same with like the Tony Hawks. They just run those franchises into the ground,
Oh, is that
into
right?
the grave.
J2 Blue Forspoken. That's funny. Thank you for retweeting Kaida Player. Yes, J2 Blue, did you see that? Look at that! Look at that DS! thing. Yeah, it's wild. It came with a little
Yeah, I'm
pick, a
kind of
pick.
glad those Guitar Hero days are over.
Oh
It was
really?
like way too much.
There
There's
was
like
it was
rock
too
band,
much. Yeah,
had the drum
there was a
set,
drum
like
set. There was what I
everything.
remember. You
Oh
could get
my
like a
gosh.
full like band, right? Couldn't you? It wasn't
Yeah, yeah.
that was a thing?
Yeah, Rock Band was the
Rock
game
band.
as well. Yeah.
Can you
But yeah,
imagine
I'm glad those days are
nowadays
over.
trying to get people together with plastic instruments to play rock band?
Oh my god, yeah, it flopped hard and yeah, it's dead now. That's
Yeah,
good thing.
unfortunately, it
And they
is
brought out
dead.
like they even made the Tony Hawk skateboard that you could stand on as a peripheral. That was like the worst idea ever.
Uh, I don't. Oh no, I do remember that. I think I do remember the skateboards.
Yeah, it was called Tony Hawk Ride, I think.
How did
It
that
was
work though?
it was a big, big flop.
Oh, it flopped.
It didn't work. That's why it
Oh,
didn't
that's why it
do.
flopped.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'll probably work, but badly.
uh, okay. Um,
Anyway,
because we've been talking about this for bloody ages. Let's talk about the hardware, Genki. Do I have the link? We didn't go over the hardware. Just look at all this stuff I prepared, Genki. I prepared. I'm prepared, and now I don't have to.
oh, thanks.
No, not that one.
Tsukara-sama desu.
Hang on, where is it? No, wait. I thought I did prepare. Maybe I didn't have the right one. Here it is. There we go. Okay. So I've put the hardware on on the the shared screen, but it probably won't be up yet on in the what do we call it, the live stream. I might try next time. I might try doing a lower latency, but I didn't do it because I wasn't sure how it was gonna work like with my internet. But next, I'm gonna do. I didn't have time to do a test, right? So I'm gonna do a test, and I'm gonna try the lower latency next time because I know that this is like a fat delay between when I'm doing things and what's on the screen.
Oh yeah, it's not too bad. It's like maybe 30 seconds. Oh no, 10 or 30 seconds or something like that. Maybe 20. Not
20,
sure.
20 seconds, yeah.
But yeah, I think that's normal for streams.
So yeah, let's go over this hardware bit, and then we're gonna get Quick in. And Quick, you can tell me if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Do you want to do this, Genki, or should I?
Yeah, I can go for it quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
So this week's Famitsu hardware sales. So the top selling system was PlayStation 5, which is a really rare occurrence.
Dun 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 dun! dun! I think it's a fanfare.
Fanfare. Nice fun. Yeah, so that's really rare, right? I think it happened last year once.
Once.
Has it happened apart from launch?
I only remember that time from when it's outsold by a few hundred units. I don't know if there was any, not that I can recall off the top of my head, let's put it that way. Maybe there was, but I don't remember. But don't forget, like, it was so hardware, it was so supply constrained that
you doubt there would be
exactly
situation. Yeah, because the stock for PS5 was so low for like 2 years, so that makes sense. Like, I think so it's only like the second time it's happened apart from the PlayStation 5 launch, so that's a really rare occurrence. So it's good job they're sending more stock to Japan and people are buying it. I don't know who. I do know. It's like I went to Shinjuku last week, and I saw some scalpers there, like outside the shop.
Genki, I know it's still going on. I know there's so many scalpers. I haven't had time to do it, but I was gonna do this report about this scalp. I'll do it next week. I'll do it during the week.
Okay,
The scalping that's been going on.
yeah.
Um,
I'm sure there are more normal people buying it as well, because like when I went to the shop, there was lots of normal people picking it up as well. So it's not all scalpers, but there are still a lot of those scalpers
yeah,
running around in
because
Tokyo.
even if the resale prices come right down in Japan, the problem is that the yen is still really weak, so it's still cheaper to get like to ship them out to these other like all other countries, right? And
Oh
then
yeah, supposed to buy them other
and there's the grey
in the
market
countries.
in China because the
Oh
Chinese
yeah.
PS5s are region locked.
Oh
Um,
okay. So
yeah,
yeah, the people want the Japanese one.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, but in terms of yeah, 60, it did 62,000 units, and that's up from 42,000 last week. So that's really good. I thought the average would like level out at 40K, but like a big jump this week was kind of surprising for me to 60K, and that's a good sign for the rest of the year and for Final Fantasy 16. Yeah, I want the PlayStation 5 to sell as much as possible until Final Fantasy 16 comes out, so that that game can have the best chance in Japan, and also so like the PlayStation market doesn't die in Japan as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy when the PS5 sales go up. And in terms of like the dedicated home console gaming in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I'm happy to see it selling big numbers this week. Yeah, the next was Nintendo Switch, which sold 51K, and yeah, probably I'm not sure, but probably like the demand is like maybe everyone has a Switch already, so like it can't keep
Wow.
selling
Apparently,
crazy,
it's like
crazy
one in.
amounts.
Wait, hang on. How many sold? Like 20, 28.
28 million,
And how? What's the population of Japan?
like 120, or yeah, around 120 million.
So
So
what?
that's like 25% maybe, or
What the?
but that's a lot.
No, yeah, okay. So yeah, so it's like how many more people you gonna sell to? Like babies? We're selling to babies and cats and dogs now. So,
Yeah, but yeah, and Japan's not making babies, so
well, yeah, well,
you have to just
that's another issue.
you have to sell to the pensioners. You have to go to
Yeah.
pension homes and like start giving. But yeah, I think just everyone at this point has a Switch in Japan. Yeah, it says the population is like 125 million.
Right.
So yeah, that's like 20 to 25% of this country has a Switch already.
That's wild.
So
That's
yeah, it's kind
absolutely
of hard to
wild. Yeah.
sell more than that, especially when like a lot of the population of Japan is like 60-year-olds or over.
God damn.
So
They
yeah,
need
it's
to
hard to
make. They need a
sell.
new. No, they made one. I was gonna say they need a new Wii Sports. They made one, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they need yeah those brain training. Oh, they have
They
those
made one of
sports.
those as well. They made a new one of those. Yeah, they
Yeah,
did. Not many
yeah,
people know about it because I think it only released in Japan and Europe. I don't think they released it in United
okay.
States. Apparently, it's because right. So you know right. So brain training. It had a different like it had a different name in Europe than in the States.
Oh,
And I think they either got sued or there was some legal thing where they can't because they were saying, oh, there's making claims that it's gonna that it trains your brain and makes you more intelligent or whatever it is, and that's why they can't sell it in the US. That's what I heard. Like it's called like it has a different name in
okay.
the US. Is it
Yeah,
brain
maybe
train in
it's
the US and
yeah,
then it's something else here? Or, I mean the UK.
yeah. It's called brain training in the UK, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure
in
it's
the
called
US it's in the
yeah,
US it was oh
maybe something
somebody
else.
tell me what it was
Big
called.
Brain Academy or something. I don't know.
Oh, that's a different game. I think that
Oh,
one's a
that's a
different game.
different game.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I cannot remember.
Okay. Anyway, Xbox was next, which sold 1,265, which was um yeah, that was up from 900 last week. Xbox Series S did 830 units, and then Xbox Series X was 400, and 35 units. Yeah, still really low numbers for Xbox. I guess it's like the demand is not there, and then they don't send any Series X's to Japan. Like really, like almost nothing. Like just a couple hundred every week. So with the Series S, it is in stock basically everywhere. But I guess just the demand is not there. It's like reached the saturated the demand,
So that's
and
kind of what I'm thinking. Because remember, we was coming up with different reasons why this suddenly dropped
yeah,
off last year.
yeah. What
In
was
like
that? The other
November.
theory, right?
The
Yeah,
other theory was
your
that
other theory.
my
Yeah,
other theory was that it was Famitsu was like course correcting for over tracking the Xbox, because compared to
hmm
Media Creates numbers, they had 50% more
yeah. Two times
Xboxes,
more.
2 times more. So it was either it's that, or truly the
Yeah,
demand has gone down.
yeah. So like on Twitter, like I saw some Japanese Twitter commentators saying it was because of the demand, but there, yeah, as you point out, it could also be them course correcting.
Not entirely sure at this point, but it's just that it's been like at this low level now for like 2, almost 3 months, right? So, and
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to be shifting that much. So, and then there's the price rise as well, which we're going to talk about in a second.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And then yeah. So that's Xbox numbers for this week. And then next was PS4, which sold 1,061, which is down from 2.5k last week. And then last was 3DS, which sold 74. That's all
I when
the
I looked at
hardware.
the year figures for 2022, you can see the hardware on it as well. The 3DS sold 10,000 units last year in Japan.
Oh wow, not bad.
Like, how did
For
where did all these 10,000 units even come from?
yeah, I don't know where those come from.
But let's bring in. Thank you for that, Genki. Let's bring in now. I believe that they've given me a pronunciation guide. Apparently, it's Kike, not what I was saying. I think it's Kike, Kike. So hopefully this works, and you can come in, and we'll see what they have to say. What would you like to talk about?
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
No problem. I'm just going to raise your volume slightly. Thank you. What would you like to talk about?
Yeah. So I'm a new listener. I didn't really
Welcome.
follow a lot of game
Hey,
sales. For a while, mostly only Nintendo. So I'm now just following a lot of accounts and looking into a lot of video game sales because that interests me.
Oh.
So apologies if this topic has been discussed before. It has to do with uh Persona, or
Mhm.
rather the future of Persona.
Oh
So
boy. Oh boy. Okay. Genki knows how I feel about that.
hey,
Is
don't get Jody started.
Spencer still here? Spencer, are you here? He's the Megaton expert. Go for it. Go for it. Kike. Is that correct?
yeah, Kike.
Kike. Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah, yeah. So I do actually know a little bit about Sega because my favorite franchise is Sonic. So when
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
acquired Atlas, I started to follow more about what Atlas is going on, and it's interesting to see how slowly Atlas has been releasing multi-platform.
Very slowly.
Um, yeah. But my question is, since we got the re-releases done, so I believe at some point Persona 6 is gonna get released.
So,
Um,
at some point.
yeah, at some point it's gonna get released, and I was wondering, will they pull the trigger and do it multi-platform, or will they stick with just Sony for now? Because
mm, mm.
if it was back in the old days, I still, even though the PlayStation is not doing well in Japan, I still believe they would have done Sony
Yeah.
only. But I think the Sega influence is starting to get to them, so I don't know if they're gonna pull the trigger and actually do it multi-plat. So I don't know if you have any opinions on that.
I do have opinions. Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball, so I don't know what they're gonna do. But we can sort of like talk about the history and, you know, what they possibly may do. So it's a shame Spencer's not here, because he really knows a lot about all of this stuff. If you follow him and follow his podcast, you know he's really like knowledgeable on this subject. But yeah, so with the Persona games, it's interesting, like the way Atlas works, and kind of still, you said they're slowly changing, but they're like really old. They are old school, like old fashions, like, and they were, in a very long time, they were still in this mindset that this franchise is on that platform, and that franchise is on that platform, and that franchise is on that platform, for no reason other than that's the way they already did it. They started it off like that. So basically, obviously, you know, they started with Megami Tensei and Shin Megami Tensei, right? And then everything else is a spin-off of that. Everything else is a spin-off. Most of the, you know, the Mega 10 franchise. They have other stuff, but right, the Mega 10 stuff. And so back in the day, and I learned this when I was, I watched one of LaRue's live streams. This is a while back. And he was talking about it was an interview with some guy that used to work at Atlas. He's not there anymore. I can't remember what the guy's name was. And basically talking about how these other franchises came to be, and what they did there. And basically it was like, so you remember back then that Sega was still making, they still had platforms back then, right? So, you know, they had the Sega Saturn, obviously. So there was like the Sega Saturn, and then there was Nintendo, right? So there was the Famicom still around at that time? I remember it was N64 or whatever. And then there was PlayStation, right? So they basically made it so like SMT was what they put on Nintendo, right? And they're like, okay, so we're gonna make one for, because like, it's not like it is now where it's easy to develop for multiple platforms, because like there's maybe similar architecture, or they're compatible with certain game engines, right? Back in the day it was like everything was like separate, right? So it's like, okay, so we have SMT on Nintendo, let's make one for Sega Saturn. So Devil Summoner was what they made for Sega Saturn. That was for that platform. And then like, I don't know, it's like the president of PlayStation or whatever, was like gone to Atlas and said, can you make one for us as well? Make a SMT for Sony. It's not like they gave them a bag to do it. They're just like, there was no bags. This was like a handshake agreement, right? Back in the day, there weren't bags for that. There's like, oh yeah, can you make one of those for us? And then that's how they ended up making Persona, which kind of came out of like SMT if, and then they kind of and that's how that ended up like that. And it was like that, and it was just always like that for years. That's the way. Obviously, the Sega platforms went away, right? They don't have consoles anymore, so they moved that over to, I think they put them on PlayStation, the Devil Summoner games. But yeah, so they just had it all separated like that, and that's just the way it was. That's just what they did for no reason other than they've always done it that way. So that's how old school they were. But like you said, their mindset is changing. Obviously, like, they were bought by Sega, but they're still like they're kind of like semi-autonomous within Sega. But like, as you said, now Sega's maybe they're having more influence because it was them that did, like, I think they did the recent Persona port. It was done by like Sega internal, like their other teams within Sega, not Atlas or an outsourced one apparently. When it comes to Persona in particular, we saw the franchise gradually become more popular over the years, and then we had Persona 5, which was a big success. And at that time it was still like, I know that Atlas has done a couple of worldwide releases recently, but it was still staggered release then, right? So it was in Japan first and then came to the West later. So with Persona 5, at that time that released, like 2016-ish? Yeah, 2016 in Japan when that released, right? at that time, it released on the PlayStation 4. Like, the PlayStation software share was over 30% in Japan at that time, right? When they released that, on the, and that was PlayStation. Well, they released it on PS3 and 4. It was PS3 and PS4. Yeah, because it takes them so long to develop. Their kind of transition was kind of slow to HD. So when it comes to like, okay, what are they going to do with Persona 6? Well, first of all, I do believe that because they sort of started developing this in, let's say, like 2019 after Persona 5 Royal. So let's just assume they did it after Royal was finished, or it might have been at the same time, because I think it was maybe a different team that did Royal. But around that time, right? So it would have been around then. So it's been in development for years. So you're talking 2019. At that time, I firmly believe they were only developing that for PlayStation. They got PlayStation in their mind. They weren't thinking about PC. They weren't even thinking about Switch or anything. They're making that for PlayStation. So I think that's how they would have started development. I think they would have been developing it for the PlayStation 4. Obviously, PlayStation 5 didn't exist yet, and they probably didn't even have they wouldn't even have development kits, or probably and even if they did, they would have been making it for PlayStation 4, because Atlas is like, they're kind of behind. They're not like technologically advanced, right?
Didn't Persona 4 release on the PlayStation 2 like years after the PlayStation 3 came out?
When did it? Was it 2009? When did it come out? What year did Persona 4 release? I'm not sure.
Persona's let me see. I'll have to check. Persona.
Yeah, whilst you look that up, so what was I saying now? Persona 5, yeah, so with these recent ports, they've obviously ported it to basically all platforms now at this point. The Persona 3, 4, and 5. And Kofi's here. Hi, Kofi. And also Grounded Gaming. Hi, shout outs. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming through.
Persona 4 came out July of 2008. It
was 2008. Okay, so hang on. When did the PS2? Was the PS2? But the PS2 must have been at the end of its life by then.
Yeah, PS3 came out 2006.
What?
At the end of the 6. Yeah, so it was like almost 2 years.
Good lord. Okay, so they're really behind when it comes to that sort of thing, right? So yeah, I do think they would have already been developing that for the PlayStation 4. When it comes to what they're like I said, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to release. Like, is it going to be multi-platform day one? A lot of people say, well, Sony's gonna pay a bag and they're gonna have it exclusive. I can't predict whether that's gonna happen or not. I can only say this. I think that moving forward, they're probably going to be trying to do worldwide releases, and I think if they're doing a worldwide release with Persona, then that's probably going to further delay them whenever this game's going to release, because we know it's in development, obviously. They've even said as such, but we have not seen hide nor hair of it, and people thought it was maybe going to be in the Persona 25th concert. They kind of like, anyway, they kind of like low-key did people dirty on that one by selling all the tickets. They sold the tickets first, and afterwards that's like, oopsie, well, there's not going to be any game announcements or anything, like after they'd already sold the tickets.
I think something happened, because I think at the beginning when they sold it, maybe they believed they had something, but then I don't know, something happened and whatever they had just wasn't ready. So
It's possible,
I
but I think
I
they.
want to believe that. I want to believe.
Well, yeah, okay, if you want to believe the best, but they kind of, I think they low key pulled the fast one. But anyway, normally at those concerts there would be like announcements, and that's how they announced like a lot of the previous games were announced at these concerts. So because there wasn't one, this was in October, I think it was October time, something like that, the end of last year anyway. So they didn't. There was nothing. They had nothing to announce. So because the fact that they haven't even announced it yet, I think that it's possible it could be like like a formally, and I mean like formally announced and revealed, whatever, right? Even if it's just like a little teaser trailer or something, right? So I think that could happen this year, but I don't think the game's going to release this year. Let's put it that. Even if they reveal it this year, I don't think that game's coming out this year. We actually don't know what, as a company, Atlas's plans are for this year at all, because since those ports, they just released those ports, right? There's no other. Don't have any release dates for anything. There's just kind of what we know they have in development, and there's maybe that Project Re Fantasy, but who knows what happened to that. And then they said Etrian Odyssey, who knows what happened to that. What's happened to all these franchises they used to make? Devil Summoner, Devil Survivor, where are all those gone? Those all disappeared. So yeah, they're kind of like really a bit slow and behind. So let's put it this way, like by the time, let's say Persona 6 is releasing 2024, maybe it releases like at the beginning of 2024 or something like that, right? Because I actually don't think it's gonna come out this year, just because they haven't revealed it yet, so I just can't see them like revealing it and releasing it in the same year, right? But yeah, let's say it comes out 2024. It could become 2024. What is PlayStation in Japan gonna look like in 2024? Do you know what I mean? When it's already like, and look, we hadn't got onto this yet, but I have it here. Oh, it's on my tweet. We was talking about like the hardware and software sales for last year. Like the Famitsu Top 100 was released the other day, right? And Nintendo Switch has a 8. This is from the Top 100. Like we'll get more in-depth stuff once we get the Media Crate Top 1000. That's not until later this year. They have an 89.4% market share in Japan. So now Atlas could decide to only release it on PlayStation because that's what they've always done. They could do that whether there's... Now, I don't think there was bags involved in the past, like I said, but, you know, I think they're going to do that regardless of whether there's a bag or not. Sony could give them a bag. It's possible. I don't know whether that would happen. I can only say that I think that this is just my opinion, okay? I think the Sony of the past would have been more inclined to that. 2016 Sony is not 2023 Sony. It's just, you know, they're very different. I call it Neo Jim Ryan PlayStation. That's what I call it. The Jim Ryan era is quite different, and I don't know if they really even care about trying to make Persona, because Persona like Persona 5 sold a lot across a couple of releases, because obviously it had the original one and then it had Vanilla, but is that the sort of game that like it's like a system seller? Do you know what I mean? I don't know if they would see it that way, but let's for argument's say that they did. We can look at both scenarios, right? We can look at both scenarios because we don't know. Let's look at a scenario where Persona 6 is exclusive to PlayStation in 2024. In 2024, we could say at the end of this year, but I'm thinking 2024. But let's say approximately 12 months from now. I don't even know if the game is going to come out then. I've no idea. But let's just say that for argument's sake, because I don't know, right? We're just doing a hypothetical here. Hypothetically, what is the Sony share of, or the PlayStation share, gonna be in Japan in 2024? And the thing is that now you can say, oh well, it doesn't matter because they're gonna get all their, their sales in the West. It sells more in the West anyway. It's true, it did sell more in the West. The Persona 5 sold more in the West. There's more people outside of Japan than there is within Japan. So it's a bigger market. So you have more potential, more potential customers, right? But I do think, so this is my opinion, I do think Atlus does care about selling their games in Japan, right? Because we saw this with Soul Hackers 2, which is their last brand new game that they had.
Yeah.
That game they did a lot of marketing for that game in Japan, a lot, and then the Western marketing was really lacking. And people commented on it that the Western marketing wasn't great. They just had like a little spot in the what's that thing called, the Summer Game Fest, what's his face's thing? Yeah, Jeff Keighley's thing. Yeah, I said Jeff Keighley. They had a little spot in there, like a 2-minute spot, and that was like almost the extent of their Western marketing. It wasn't a lot, but in Japan they had live streams. They had all the daily demon reveals that they were doing. They had like one of those 3D billboard things. They had all this stuff in Japan, like tons and tons of the marketing in Japan, right? And then the game sold 41,000, which that's not good sales. That's what it sold in Japan. That's not. I don't think they were expecting that game to flop. We kind of know that from what Sega has said recently. They said it was their last financial thing. Oh, it's struggling to reach their sales expectations. That game flopped hardcore. Now there's many reasons for that game flopping, but we're not going into that now. So when it comes to that, and the fact that with their thing, we've even looked at the Persona 25th anniversary, like the majority of it was aimed at Japan. It was like Japan exclusive stuff, Japan exclusive events, Japan. All the concerts are in Japan. Everything's in Japan. So I don't think you can say that. Well, they don't care about what's going on in Japan. They're just gonna sell it internationally. I think they do care. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done. They won't do the stuff. I think they make their games for Japan, and then the games happen to sell well worldwide because people like them worldwide. I think it's more like that rather than like them thinking, right, well, let's. Because if they were trying to cater to the West, I think they would have made more changes and stuff like that. So if we have a hypothetical situation where Persona 6 is exclusive to PlayStation, then you can expect that game's not going to sell a lot in Japan. It's just not possible for it to. And so they would be relying on Western sales from that point forward, and which is, if they maybe they would get a bag to compensate, right, for that. Maybe Sony gives them a bag, which is fine. I think that's fine in the short term. I think long term there's an issue with that, because then if your fan base is dwindling in Japan, what about all that merch and concerts and all that stuff that you're trying to sell in all that Japan exclusive stuff? Over the years, your fan base is going to dwindle. Like if less people have access to the game, because like I bet it's like we saw it happen with Disgaea 7. Like, just where's my tweet? And I do think it was the marketing was the reason for that happening. The marketing, because this same thing happened with Scarlet Nexus, when that had just Microsoft marketing in Japan. So the marketing was just, all it had was just PlayStation and logos on it and stuff. So if you're looking at that, like, I don't know how, and yeah, here it is. I'm playing it on the stream. You might not see it for a little while, but I don't know how, as a consumer, you'd be able to distinguish between that not being only on PlayStation. So you just get people that are on Switch. They go, oh well, I can't play that game. I don't know what else you'd think from seeing that. So I do think that's an effect. So that's a hypothetical situation. So I feel like if they did do that, then from there on, they would be looking to the West for their sales. It's possible they could do multi-platform, but it's Atlas, and I don't think they will. Personally, I think like I just don't see them doing that a lot. That's just my opinion, though. Are they going to do that at launch?
I think whenever they do announce it, then it'll be like a good sign of like how Atlas are moving. Like if they're just stuck being more traditional and Japan focused, or if they're trying to be more like Sega and like do the multi-platform releases. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of think it would be a multi-platform just because if not, then yes, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think they're just being very traditional because like Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond were in Japan like with Atlas, and if they didn't get that deal done, then it's kind of strange to me. If they can't get, especially with the Game Pass deal and all the other stuff, they're building a relationship with Atlas and Sega. So yeah, I would expect it to be multi-platform, but like, but then yeah, if they're sticking to the more traditional ways, then it might not be.
So that's the
Yeah,
thing.
kinda hard
Like
to
it's
say.
it's hard. It's hard because I can't because they just haven't changed that much. But I think just because there's been those few like ports, like I don't know if that maybe that's just like a test case for them. I don't know if that means that they're going to be multi-platform going forward. And I think yeah, they obviously were in talks with Microsoft to get the games on over there to varying success. Honestly, I would say because I've been following like when Persona 3 and 4 released on Xbox, like no one played it, man. Like I looked
Yeah,
at the most
I
played charts
imagine
and
no one
everything. No,
played that.
people played Persona 5, and that was in the most played charts because Microsoft did a
Yeah,
giant ass a worldwide campaign with billboards, stuff in Times Square,
and
everywhere,
a massive
plastered
advertising for
all
that.
over the world. They didn't do any advertising for Persona 3 and
Yeah,
4.
and plus they're more like
And
older
they're
type
older
games,
games which don't
which won't
visually
appeal
look
to
as good, right?
Xbox users so much. Yeah,
So you know, that because I saw people say when Persona 5 was in the most played chart, they're like, oh, now there's a Persona fan base on Xbox, and I was like, well, how could, why did no one play Persona 3 and 4? Because I was watching the charts and they weren't playing. I looked at it and they did not come even close to being in the most played thing at all. But yeah, I think they obviously they clearly made some sort of deal with Microsoft too, because we saw Soul Hackers 2 was on Xbox and on the Windows Store. But that was on, it said not just Steam, it was on the Windows Store. And then we saw the same thing with the Persona port. So have they also made a deal, right, okay, we're also Persona 6 is going to be day one on Xbox. It's possible. I don't know. It's possible they could have done that. Would they also put the game on Switch or whatever, Switch successor or whatever? I don't know. I can only say that Atlas with their development, they are not great at multi-platform anyway. And whatever, you've got Switch with a different architecture, and then you've got whatever the successor is going to be this like similar mobile architecture is going to be an NVIDIA chip. Are they going to be developing for that? Even though they have experience developing, they've developed games for Switch, obviously. Are they going to do that? Are they going to have a day one release on Switch, or just to say Nintendo? I don't see it. Even if like when it comes to these I know I've kind of gone on about it, but when it comes to like what is going on with these software sales, like as Genki puts it, these PS4 software sales are getting fan snaps every year. It's going down by like half every year. So in 2020. It's like last year, 2022, it was 6.8% PS4 software and 3.8% PS5. So what's that going to look like in 2024? Or even at the end of this year? It's going to be like PS4 is going to be like 2 or 3%, and then PS5 will probably raise to like 5 or 6%. And then maybe you'll see the market will be like 95% Switch, and then in that situation, are they still going to go with PlayStation only? I don't know. To me, right, from a logical situation, I'm thinking, well, that's dumb. Why would you do that? But it's Atlas. This is what they do. They make dumb decisions. So I don't know. Anyway, I've been going on for a long time. What do you think, Kike? Vinnie Mac's there. Vinnie Mac, I didn't know you was in there. Vinnie Mac, I'll bring you in a sec. What the hell? Message. I was going to say message in the Discord if you've joined it, because I'm not always looking at that screen. So I don't know how long you've been waiting. So I've been banging on Vinnie Mac. Sorry. But yeah, actually, we can't even. What time is Genki? Have you got to leave soon? I'm not sure what time Genki has to leave.
Maybe like an hour.
In an hour. Okay, we'll go on for maybe another hour. Yeah, Kike, what do you think?
Yeah, I think. So I do think, because I remember Sega said that they wanted to focus on two things. They wanted to focus on worldwide releases. They didn't like that a game came out in Japan first and then worldwide. So I know they wanted to do that, and then they said they wanted to focus on multiplats. And then we slowly started seeing more Sega games simultaneously go worldwide and multiplat. I think at the very least it'll come out worldwide. I don't think we're gonna the West is gonna get Persona 6 later. I think that's done.
Right. I hope so.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, like, they had the new office in America. Like, they just like renovated it and like decorated it really nicely. So yeah, I think I agree with you what you're saying. Like, definitely it will be a worldwide release, at least.
My tinfoil hat theory, and I don't have any proof or any leads or anything like that. I think a lot of Japanese publishers are gonna look into what Final Fantasy 16 does, because that's PS5 exclusive.
Right.
And,
yeah.
And I know Dragon Quest is more popular in Japan, but Final Fantasy is still one of the biggest franchises in Japan. So if Final Fantasy 16 doesn't do well in Japan, that's gonna send like a message to a lot of Japanese publishers. Like, if Final Fantasy couldn't do well in Japan as a PlayStation exclusive, they're gonna start reevaluating their plans. That's what I feel. Or either they focus on worldwide and make up that way, or they just go multiplan. That's what I feel like.
I mean, I never thought of that, to be honest. I see what you're saying with Final Fantasy. Now, I do not think it's going to flop in Japan, but I just think it's
no, I don't think it's gonna flop.
It's just not gonna sell as well as the previous entries.
Yeah, so I think that's like a lot of publishers in Japan like are gonna look at like that's the roof.
But the thing is, Kika, they've had. It's not like we need to just see now what's gonna happen. Like they've had the evidence for 5-6 years of what's been going on there. It's not like I'm trying not to swear. It's XYT. We need to quick hit the emergency port to switch button. Let's do it now. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. So I
yes.
believe they're gonna make Persona 6 for the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5.
That's what I think. That's what I think as well.
And then they're gonna release it. Then the sales are gonna come out, and then Sega's gonna come out to Atlas and say, make the Nintendo port and the Xbox port.
Hey yo, Atlas,
what
are you doing?
Yeah. Like either it's gonna be like a year wait, like most, because I have a Switch and it's like either we get the port later or we get it like way late. So I think they're gonna be like Persona 6, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and then like the year later, here's everybody else.
Yeah, it's possible they could do that as well. It could be, I like I said, I do believe the game's been developed for PlayStation 4. They would have started development for PlayStation 4, and then it will be kind of upscaled or whatever to PlayStation 5. Whether it's going to be on the other platform, like for example, is it going to be on PC at launch? You know, I don't know. I think it would be wise for them to make it multi-platform, all platforms at once. But then, can Atlas pull that off? They haven't done that so far. They've had worldwide releases, and then they've had releases that were on, like Soul Hackers 2, where that was on a lot of platforms, except Switch. They haven't pulled it off where it's on everything and it's worldwide day one. They haven't managed to pull that off yet.
Yeah, but there have been more and more, like worldwide. I think they really want Persona to come out like day and date on every country they can. I feel like if Persona doesn't do well, I think Sega's just gonna come in Atlas like, okay, we're a multi-plat company now. I think they're gonna take whole. At some point, Atlas is gonna change. Because Sega, I've been following Sega because of Sonic. And
I don't think so.
At some point,
Atlas is gonna change.
At some point, they're gonna come at Atlas doors like, hey, I know we left you alone and we trust you, but that stuff's out.
Yeah, when their management either retires or dies, maybe then. Oh god, you're a joker. Atlas is gonna change. They're gonna the multi-platform. They're gonna do it. I don't think so. maybe. Sega have more. Like I said, they're kind of like semi-autonomous, right? With the way they kind of operate. But maybe Sega's like kind of like putting the boot up there, and kind of like you know, with the multi-platform stuff they've done recently and the deals they've made with Xbox, you know, maybe they're doing that. I guess they did announce their Persona ports at a direct as well, so I guess they had some, you know, that's marketing as well, right? So yeah, I think like I hadn't considered what you said about Final Fantasy 16, because for me Final Fantasy 16 is obvious. It's just it physically cannot sell as well as the previous games. We've got the two previous games, so Final Fantasy 7 Remake and Final Fantasy 15, which were both around 700,000 physical copies at launch, right? And you look at Final Fantasy 7 Remake. I mean, that was a couple of years ago. Was that 2020? When did that come out? I can't even remember.
Yeah,
2020.
2020.
Yeah, 2020 April.
So it wasn't that long ago, right? That it was Final Fantasy was able to achieve that. Now, that wasn't at the heights the way it used to be, where Final Fantasy was selling 3 million plus in Japan. Those days are long gone, but it was still, you know, decent back then. Now that the software attachment's so low, like it's not possible. Even when you say, okay, we're going to add in on digital, and we do know the digital rates because we got them from the Cecil white paper. People keep trying to say that the digital ratio is like 90% for PS5 in Japan. No, it is not. Like people say
90%. Oh, those people are crazy.
It's not. They think it's 90%. Genki, you know there's conspiracy theories about that. There's conspiracy theories.
Oh yeah.
The people
because like one quarter, like Sony had like 80% or something, but that was worldwide.
But that's worldwide. That's what I'm saying. It's worldwide.
Yeah.
The in general, just physical's way more in Japan, right? For whatever reason, okay. In general, and it's like it's the same with the PlayStation as well. That it's more physical, so it isn't that high. As high as digital, but then even if you add on the digital, I don't think it's going to be a 700,000 700,000 launch. Like Genki said before, like 300k. I'm thinking that the most it's probably going to do is be like half of what the previous game did, so 300, 350, right? So I'm thinking it's going to be like halved. Will other publishers look at that? I don't think they may do, Kike, but I don't think that they need to even look at that to see. I mean, they have access to more data than what we have, like way more access to more data. And from the publicly available data, that we have, we can see, okay, it's like 90% Switch in Japan. The we can see there's even the digital rates of shipment numbers, and there's a whole community of people that follow all this stuff, you know. So, yeah, they may look at that, but I think if Square Enix themselves, I mean, are they expecting this to sell the same as previous Final Fantasies in Japan? I don't know about that. Just because I feel like the kind of tone of the game is more shifted towards the West. Because for one thing, they've made the game mature rated, and that automatically reduces your audience. The other games, other Final Fantasy games, 7 Remake and 15 were teen rated. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, were they not? Like, I mean, when I say teen rated, I mean like I'm going by the American ESRB rating, like teen rated. So someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe they were mature rated games, but Final Fantasy 16 will be mature rated, so that automatically reduces your audience anyway, right? Of who you're marketing the game to. So I don't know if the dude. I just don't feel like they even expect it to sell like the other games, but overall, I think that 16 will sell more worldwide than 15. I think it will do better than 15 worldwide.
I don't think it's gonna do better than 15.
You don't?
No.
So oh wow, you really don't think that. So 15, we get an announcement recently that it sold 10 million. Like,
Yeah, it sold 10 million.
so
That
the
was
thing,
recently, right?
it was recent. The thing is with that 10 million is that game came out years ago, right? Like 2016 or something. Well, I don't remember when it came out. And that game has been like
Yeah, it was
on
2017.
like fire sale discount for years. Like you can get the whole thing complete. It's dirt cheap, right? The whole complete game, the whole like I mean the complete with DLC and all that. Isn't it like super cheap? So yeah, 10 million is good, but it wasn't 10 million full price games. You know, they ain't doing a Nintendo where they, you know, look how much they sold of like even just like Breath of the Wild or whatever. That's a full price. So yeah, so they're not doing that. So you think that it I see where you're coming from, Kika, because 15 was on PS4, Xbox One, and PC at launch. Was it on PC at launch? And
No, came
no,
out later.
came out later. Okay.
No, yeah,
But it's on PC now.
yeah.
And then I was gonna say 16 is only going to be on PS5 at launch. It's not even going to be a PC. PC is going to come later, I think. And we don't know if that game is. It's probably never going to go to Xbox. We don't know because 7 Remake still hasn't gone to Xbox, right? So it probably will never go to Xbox. We don't know the nature of the deal, but let's just assume it's not for the foreseeable future anyway. So what you're saying is there's less platforms, so it's probably going to sell less. Is that what you mean?
Less platforms, and I feel like so. Final Fantasy 15 came out. Maybe because I remember there were more PS4s plus Xbox Ones. Like it released like late 2015. When did it come out?
Oh yeah, late 2016.
2016.
November 2016.
So they were like in the middle of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And I feel like they're just getting the PS5 situation straightened out. So
I see what you mean.
I think
Like, yeah, there's not as many PS5s as there were at the time. PS4s and Xbox Ones. Yeah.
I feel
Yeah, I
like
think it would be hard to match 15 just because it's just PS5 for the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe when it comes to PC or something else, then it could get to 10 million. But just on PS5, it would be difficult.
Yeah, on PS5 alone, yeah, it would be difficult. Yeah.
Probably by release, we'll have like 40 million or 45 million PS5s.
Yeah, because
by
they've
June.
got a very high what do you call that? what do you call it? What, it's not estimate, like what they think they're gonna
Forecast.
Yeah, sorry, forecast. Yeah, they got a very high forecast. So the game's out in what, 5 months, right? So yeah, they could have. At the moment they just announced it's like 31 million or something, right? So yeah, they could have a lot more. But even on like 45 million, are they going to sell 10 million? You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like it'll do as well as the remake of 7.
Say that again, please.
I feel like it'll do as well as the 7 remake.
So 7 remake, I think they said it sold for, like, we got an announcement it sold 5 million. I don't know if there was, did we get an update from that? I can't remember.
Yeah, that was the last update we got, and that was like in August after it came out, so like 4 months or 4 or 5 months. So since then we have never got.
And there's no update. Yeah, so it probably didn't. If there's been no update than that from that, then yeah, it's not like it's still selling a lot, you know. So yeah, I think it will sell better than that, just because it's a brand new numbered Final Fantasy, a brand new one. Whereas that, I mean, it was like a kind of a sort of remake or reimagining of a game that was already existing. So I think there's a lot more hype for 16 as well. I think there's a lot of hype for it. I think people are really anticipating it because it's a different team developing it, and I think people have more faith in I think it's Division 3, it's Business Division 3 or whatever that Yoshi P's in. They have more faith in them than Luminous, you know. Well, we've seen Luminous recently. We've seen
Oh yeah, poor Luminous. I hope they are okay. I hope it sells enough for them to still keep running and not get shut down or anything.
Who, Luminous?
Yeah, Luminous.
I don't think they're gonna shut down Luminous. I think they might scale back what they're doing. You know, like they're not. I don't think they're gonna be like, okay, right, Forspoken kind of flopped, but here's another $100 million and make another brand new IP. I don't think they're gonna do that. Personally, that would be kind of that'd be a little bit foolhardy to do that. I think. But yeah, I'd like to get onto some of these comments, right? Because we're running short on time. Thank Meme Center. Yeah. Thank you, Kika. Thank Meme Center. Hi, Genki and JCat. Yes, I'm JCat. That's right. Tagged me. Thank you. Roche, what did I miss? You missed us. We were just roasting Atlas. No, it wasn't. We were just talking about like personas. What's going to happen with that? Rachel says, I think all the Japanese companies are indeed worried of Japan's sales, since this could kill the Japanese interest in their IPs long term. So this is what I'm thinking about, like, in the short term, like, let's go and chase the West, but then it's like, okay, if your fan base dwindles in Japan, you're going to end up in a situation where, okay, well, you've got more sales in the West, but what about, like, 10, 15, 20 years from now? Like, people, what tends to happen is that the people that's like going to go into and want to be developers or programmers or, you know, animators, artists or whatever, they kind of want to go to companies and everything that they grew up with and what stuff they grew up with. And if they're not growing up with that stuff, then are they going to be, you know, are they going to be able to recruit people that's interested, you know what I mean, in Japan? And then at that point, are you going to have the people developing games that's not for their own market? They're developing it for primarily for other markets. I don't know. That's just kind of like the way I'm thinking of it. Yeah, Vinnie Mac. I'll bring you in now. I'm just gonna get. Okay, I'll add you in now. I'm just gonna get through these comments. Sorry for the wait. Or Genki, do you want to read the comments? It's up to you.
Oh, okay. What
I got up to like J2 Blue Engage. I know you changed your name. Wasn't it J2 Blue Bayonetta last time or something?
He's playing new games.
You're playing new. Every time you play a new game, you change your name. Yeah, I got up to
J2
J2.
Blue
Yeah.
says by the time Persona 6 comes out, the next Nintendo console will probably be out at that time, and they don't have any excuse not to put it on there. That's
J2
true.
Blue, you are wrong. They do have an excuse, and their excuse is because that's their excuse.
Oh yeah, because they weren't ready. But yeah, hopefully they'll be ready. Roche says, do you think Atlas is holding Persona 6 until Nintendo releases stronger or next gen console?
No.
No, it probably just takes time to develop.
Roche, as I said before, Atlas is not a technologically advanced. Their games are really simple, right?
Yeah.
Persona 5 was developed as a PS3 game. People just think of it, you just look at it because it's so stylized, it kind of hides like that. The actual models and everything are like low polygon and everything. They're not like, they don't need a strong console for their games. They really don't. And why they didn't release Soul Hackers 2 on Switch is who knows, because we've seen that game and seen what that game looks like, and to think, oh well, they can't make that run on Switch, you know, of course they don't need it. We're not talking about like Cyberpunk 2077. We're talking about cell shaded turn-based JRPGs, you know, so it's not, they don't need a strong console to run Persona 6, no, because like I said, they're going to be developing this game for PlayStation 4. They would have started this game for PlayStation 4. If it can run on PlayStation 4, you can make make the game run on Switch.
If I can add something, I do also watch Digital Foundry, and they did a video on Soul Hackers.
Right.
And apparently that game runs real bad on the Xbox One.
Yeah,
like
really bad. They didn't optimize it at all.
Yeah, so maybe
probably
really,
like a contract outside the job.
Oh yeah, I heard it. Well, I think it was some outside contractor or something.
Yeah, so maybe they do. Maybe they can put it on the Switch, but maybe they're like, we don't know how to put it on Switch.
Or maybe they're just Atlas and they're just making dumb decisions. Who knows?
Yeah. Also, I gotta go. I'll keep listening, but I actually gotta.
No worries.
To work.
Thank you so much for joining us, Kika. It was very good having you. Thank you.
Take care.
No, thank you.
Take
if
care.
Sega releases their sales, I'll probably come and ask a question at that point. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
What's your favorite Sonic game? Before you go.
My favorite Sonic game, Sonic Adventure.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Mine's Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Okay.
Okay, take care.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Bye bye.
Okay, I'll just go through the other comments. I think next one. Atlas should start porting their published games to Switch.
Atlas should do a lot of things.
J2 Blue says, I love how animated Jodie gets.
I have to. When we're talking about Atlas J2, I have to.
Yeah. Laughing emoji. Roche says, how much does FF16 should sell to be considered a success in Japan?
That's a good question.
I think, yeah, if it sells 300 or 400k, I think that's successful.
Like what we think is successful and what Square Enix probably thinks is successful is probably wildly different, because Square Enix has like these weirdo high expectations and stuff. So yeah, I mean, like Genki says, 300 or 400k would be successful just because of how the PlayStation 5 is in Japan, so that would be good. Whether they would think that was good, I don't know, but they might do. Who knows?
But yeah, hopefully the worldwide sales will make up for it, and them being at the Game Awards and promoting their games, and hopefully it reviews well, and then it could be like a big hit, like kind of like Elden Ring or something. Yeah. Hopefully, that's
I'm really
what they're
looking
forward
to that. I think it's going to review well. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I bought that fat collector's edition Genki with the big old statue. What am I going to do with that statue? I don't know. I have nowhere. I've got nowhere for this. It's a good thing you can't see my room. I've got a whole bunch of crap. I bought a box full of amiibos. I don't know where I'm going to put them. So
I need to sell a bunch of stuff or get rid of a bunch of stuff and then make space for that massive icon statue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and then Vinnie Mac says to Roach, consider that it's the PS5 exclusive, over 100k launch week. Oh, wait.
It would have to. I think it's going to be over 100. It would be over. It would be over 100k for definite, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you in the room? You are in the room. Can you not? Are you? You're muted. Why are you muted?
J2 says yes, that's correct. I think FF16 is the second FF to get M rating. Second?
What was
I
the other
think
one?
This is the first mainline one. Maybe there was another one that got M rating, but it was like a spin-off. But in terms of the
it was.
mainline game,
I know what it was. It was that one that was on the PSP or the Vita or something. It was M rated.
oh really?
Yeah, it was a
is it
spin-off, like not
Type-
Dissidia or Type Zero.
Oh, okay. So maybe yeah, something else. Yeah, but in terms of mainline Final Fantasies, yeah, 16 is the first to get an M rating for mature. So yeah, it's probably got some like swearing and like intimate scenes,
Blood
and
and
a lot
sexy
of blood.
stuff. There's sexy stuff in there. Genki, I know there's sexy stuff. I saw the trailer. There's sexy stuff.
Yeah. They said something about drugs or something in there.
Drugs?
That
What?
that's the M rating, right? It has like drugs.
What drugs they be
and,
taking?
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know what the story is yet. But yeah, it's gonna be. Oh yeah, it's gonna be like the story of Final Fantasy 16 is gonna be crazy, because like Yoshi P said, it's gonna be like a roller coaster. So expect like some mad, crazy plot twists and
Yeah.
crazy. They're going all out on the story. So
Oh, good.
yeah, expect a good ride.
Should be a good game, and I definitely think that worldwide sales will make up for the loss in Japan. Yeah. Vinnie Mac, by the way, you are in the room, but have you muted yourself? I can't hear you. Are you talking?
Afropunk says Type 0. So
Yeah, it was Type
probably
0.
the Type 0 that was M rated.
Oh no, he left. Well, maybe he was having some technical issues. He came back. Wait, let me try and put him back in the room. Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Hey, everyone. Great show, as always. Another fantastic week.
Thank you.
I did want to bring up something that you guys brought up regarding the PlayStation 5, regarding specifically Disgaea 7, and I'm interested in getting you guys' opinion on this.
Mm-hmm.
Has PlayStation, I guess we can say by extension Xbox, have they trained their audience now to look for these styles of games? The Disgaea 6 is like an A or double A game compared to what Sony typically puts out.
Mm-hmm.
And as we get deeper and deeper into this generation, we're going to see more advanced games, even the games that Sony's pushing themselves. Final Fantasy, high fidelity, high graphics, high presentation. Wolverine, hard R, so we're going to be very violent, high presentation, high everything.
Hard R, what does that mean?
Last of Us, God of War, etc., etc. Even on Microsoft side too, they're pushing games that are really boasting graphics. Are we now getting to the phase where those sort of colorful kitty type games, even though they're deep in their own facet, but they're just very colorful? Are we getting away from that on the PlayStation Xbox front? Because if you take a look at the Final Fantasy has always been a little bit goofy on its own level. It's going real serious at this point with Final Fantasy 16. That's right in line with what the PlayStation brand is going for. So I'm wondering if the sales of the Disgaea 7, even though it is paired up with Fire Emblem that's on a different platform, the failure of that, and maybe even the failure of maybe Soul Hackers, that's a very colorful game too. Are we seeing just a different training of the audience? Is the audience no longer interested in those types of games and more interested in the Spider-Mans, the Wolverines, the Horizons, the Final Fantasy 16s, that level of graphical fidelity? I guess it's going to be interesting to see how more and more games come out. I think there's one sort of Persona S game that I think the PlayStation is pushing.
Yes.
I think it's like something Nights. I forget about that.
Yeah, it's called Eternites. It's an
Eternites.
action. They called it an action dating game. And I did look up the studio. They're a very small US studio that from what I looked at, it said they had 6 employees. They probably have more people helping with the game, but it said like 6 employees, so they're very, very small, I think. And I think they're a new studio. So yeah, there's that game.
I'm wondering if we're just going in that direction now, where those types of high, colorful, bright games are no longer really a main focus of this generation's PlayStation.
So I did like when I tweeted out about this guy 7, I did comment that I thought that it's harder for AA type games on PlayStation. Just so my reason is that people only have so much money, right? And if you are a new most people are relatively new PS5 owners as well, right? So, and you only have so much money to buy games. People don't have unlimited money, right? So, are you gonna buy some of the, as you said, some of the Sony first party games, the stuff that's more graphically intensive or high fidelity, right? Or some of the more AA games. And I do feel like some of the AA games are kind of have been suffering a little bit more, and I think like a good example of that I can think about would be last year, Star Ocean. I think 6 was it Star Ocean 6? Didn't do too well. So Star Ocean 6, it didn't do that well, right? And I remember even like Benji Sales, right? It was in his live chat, right? So like I'm normally always there because I'm modding his live chat, and he was saying, oh, he felt like AA games just weren't doing as well, and that like he felt really sad that the market for AA games seems to be dwindling. That's the way he put it at the time. And so I don't know like what stuff in particular he had seen, because I know he follows like all his retail stuff, and so he knows some of the sales and things like that. So it's like you have a PlayStation 5, you bought a PlayStation 5. Are you buying Star Ocean 6, or are you buying like Horizon Forbidden West or something?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
And I think that's really because that's what PlayStation is training the market to look for. So those big budget blockbuster popcorn flick games, that's what they're really pushing behind. And those little smaller games, yeah, they may get their little Twitter drop or YouTube drop, but they don't have the same level of push, that same level of reach as some of their more bigger games. It makes sense, it's their own game, they're pushing their own hardware. But if you've been training your market that this is what's important, graphics, fidelity, frame rate, all that other stuff, the Disgaea 7 and that ilk doesn't really do anything for you. Especially with like Star Ocean, even Star Ocean 6 had the frame rate drops, and that was on the PlayStation 5, had frame rate drops. So maybe we need a PlayStation 6. Who knows?
I think that's just
we need a PlayStation 6 now. So
I think is it Trios that develops those Star Ocean games? I think they just that's just an I think they have some like issues, and I know people do like their games and stuff. But yeah, I think they maybe did. I tried out the demo of that game on the PS5, and I thought like it was okay. I just thought it just maybe wasn't maybe it gets better when you get later in the game. But where I was playing it, it was like you have this. There was like some system where you have some points or some meter or something, and you can only attack if that thing's full up. Like even just like basic melee attacks, you can't do unless you have stuff inside that meter, which you have to. So you literally can't do anything. Like you're not even like a melee. And I was like, I'm not really feeling that.
Yeah, I also played the game too, and I thought it was okay. I've been gaming since I was a child, like most other people. But it feels with the place. I only have a PlayStation 5. I do have an Xbox, but that's not hooked up yet. And it feels as I'm playing these games, it feels odd to me for me to be playing like these smaller double A good RPGs on my PlayStation 5. I feel like I should be playing this on something else, my PlayStation 4 or my Switch. And I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe I'm kind of falling victim to that own marketing push. I felt fine playing God of War on my PlayStation 5, Horizon on my PlayStation 5, Spider-Man 2, I'm gonna feel good playing that on my PlayStation 5. Maybe Final Fantasy if Genki can push us non-believers back into that camp. All that's gonna feel good on my PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Soul Hackers did not feel good playing on my PlayStation 5. Trails to Zero did not feel good playing on my PlayStation 5. I feel like those games belong on the Switch or weaker hardware, I should say, Switch, Steam Deck, whatever. It doesn't feel like they belong on this high-powered, high-fidelity, high-type games. And maybe that's just where we are. Maybe that's the great thing of marketing. Maybe that's what they were supposed to do. So I
Yeah.
guess with the whole
So
Persona
Sony are
6
def-
conversation, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you can finish. Go ahead. Sorry.
So I guess with this whole Persona 6 conversation, if we're not pushing in anime style graphics, if that's not being pushed, you almost got to go multi-plat to sort of make up your money, unless Persona 6 is going to go with this ultra realistic sort of Stellar Blade type graphics. We're going to go like that.
Funny man.
You're going to go with your hand drawn, very anime looking. I don't know how it's just going to just survive on the PlayStation 5 if anyone is comparing this game to Spider-Man or God of War. I don't know how it's going to thrive only on the PlayStation 5.
I'm waiting for that ultralistic Stellar Blade persona you was just talking about. Oh god, that's funny.
That would be funny.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, that's not happening.
That's not happening. Yeah, Atlas.
Oh yeah.
They don't
Sony-
do games like that. So yeah.
As you said with Sony, it's definitely marketing. Like they're all in for this like prestigious kind of image, like high quality and yeah, like top of the range like kind of image. So that's the games that they promote the most, and also like this more art house image with like the indie games, like the quirky indie
Yeah.
games. So they're going for like the very prestigious or cultured kind of art house or
Indie
AAA.
games, yeah, like they're indie games that yeah, I've noticed that there's certain type of indie games that they promote as well. Like I don't really see them promoting like pixel art indie games, for example. I haven't really seen, if someone's had an example, maybe they did do that. I don't remember that ever being at any state of play, any type of pixel art looking, like a Celeste or something like that. I don't remember seeing anything like that. It's like it's more like they had Sifu, which is very stylized, and there's a new game they're promoting, which looks very interesting actually. I can't pronounce it. It's like TCI. I don't know. Someone tell me how to pronounce that. You know what game I'm talking about, right? That game with like a little girl and she's running around on some island, jumping into animals and things like that.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce that? I don't know. Anyway, that looks cool. It looks like a cool game.
Chaya or something.
Is it Chaya?
I don't know how to pronounce it.
No, I don't know how to pronounce it. It begins with a TCH.
Yeah, Sony are definitely interested in like games. Like in one of the ex-dev hiring things, they were saying like they're like PlayStation are focused on games that can win awards. So they're looking for like kind of prestige kind of games.
They said
to be
that
associated with the platform. Yeah, that was in one of the ex-dev hiring descriptions. So like what's the goal of ex-dev? It's like to partner with people to make games that can win awards or something along those lines. So yeah, I think that's PlayStation's focus. It's like prestige, like high quality, and things that can win awards. Like yeah.
And they've gradually moved over. That wasn't like they wasn't always like that, and it wasn't an overnight thing. It was like a gradual thing over the last like 10 years or something, like where it's like this is and it works really well for them. Okay, the games that they're making now sell incredibly well. We saw the God of War sales, right? They said it's 11 million. Right, they're selling extremely well worldwide. But yes, what they have done is basically they've made, in my opinion, it's like the way I feel when I play a PlayStation 5, especially because I have a very large TV as well. Like I have a 65-inch TV. It feels like it's like made for that cinematic experience. I feel like it's made for the for like you said about like Vinnie Mac, like you're playing Spider-Man or something. It's like that cinematic. Like I'm sitting in my chair, I've got the, maybe I've got the lights on low or something. I'm comfy in my chair and I'm sitting, playing at this with at a television screen, like a large screen. I feel like they are made to be played on a large screen like that. And not only played for a large screen. I feel like the way you play when you play kind of those type of games on TV is that maybe your sessions are kind of longer. You probably play it like for long sessions at a time as well. It's a different style. So like for example, maybe the cutscenes are kind of longer for games that are more made like you can't like cutscenes that you can't just what am I saying like just interrupt or you're sitting for long spells at a time. So it's that type of game, and they have gradually moved over to that because you can look back at what was going on the PlayStation 1 and 2, right? So it was kind of different. They have gradually moved to that, kind of play. I always say Uncharted onwards is when that started happening. Uncharted onwards.
Uncharted 2 was like a kind of catalyst, and then it blew up with The Last of Us, and then they're just following that now.
Exactly.
So, they definitely moved on.
Doing
so
that,
that's why they're interested in games like Final Fantasy 16, and like a game like Crisis Core, they would not be interested in making it like an exclusive.
Yeah, because Crisis Core. Sorry, go ahead.
Do we know how long Final Fantasy 16 is supposed to be in terms of hours? Is that supposed to be like a 20-hour adventure and maybe like 50 hours of side quests, or are we looking at like a very RPG? If we're going with high fidelity, high graphics, cinematic feel, I don't think it's going to be any longer than God of War 2, and that's what 20, 30 hours to play.
Yeah, I think it will be around 30 hours or something.
Has that been?
And then if you do side quests and stuff, I'm not sure exactly. It might have been mentioned, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I think the impression I got, it would be like more like any 30-hour game, and then with all the side quests, or you could like do multiple playthroughs, and it would add to the gameplay time.
How long was 15 like average?
I think if you were just to blaze through 15 story, I think it's about maybe 20, 25 hours. It's kind of short on the back end. It's very front loaded, but short on the back end.
Yeah, maybe it'll be around there. Maybe probably a bit. I imagine that. So I'm imagining that maybe 16 is a bit more beefy than 15, and maybe it's a bit longer.
There was an interview, I think, with IGN, I think, and then the director Takai said it would take between 35 to 40 hours to complete.
Oh, okay then. Okay, so they've already told us. Okay, yeah. So it's going to be longer than 15. Yeah.
So there's 30 to 40 hours to complete, or just to finish? Because we're talking about
that's just for the story.
Okay, all right. I guess that's pretty meaty for that style of game. So I guess that fits within the PlayStation brand. So, but that's all I wanted to say. Just wanted to sit back and enjoy the show, interact with you guys. You guys are doing a phenomenal job. So I appreciate it. Keep up the great work. Cheers.
Thank you. I'm so happy to have you here, Vinnie Mac. You don't know how happy I am.
Oh yeah, he said 30 to 40 hours to complete, or full completion will take around 70 hours.
Ooh, 70 hours.
For Final Fantasy 16. Yeah.
If you do all the side quests and everything, 70 hours. Okay, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Oh, Kofi's in the chat. Hey, Kofi.
Hi, Kofi. Deaf question. What's the great question? Definitely would have a lot to say myself. Oh, what are you referring to, Kofi? Would have a lot to say myself. I can't remember. I can't remember what we was talking about. Yeah, if you can type in what that is, and maybe we can talk about it before the end. Genki, I don't know if you would like to get on with like the other things, because we're going to talk about the Xbox price increase.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that just briefly, I guess.
Briefly.
Yeah, Roche says on the Xbox has a good shot on keeping that thanks to Hi-Fi Rush, but PS5, on the other hand, not sure what that was about. But yeah, yeah, I've been playing Hi-Fi Rush. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good game, and yeah, good to see Xbox releasing Japanese games like
Okay.
first-party games
They're
like
getting a W.
on Xbox.
They've got a W
Yeah,
with this
that's good.
game. People really love it. So
Yeah, yeah, it's really good.
they've done. They've,
Oh yeah, and yeah, they recently raised the price,
yeah.
and I think it'll be from 17th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, it says on
February
this
17th.
article. I'm just looking at IGN on the
Oh, okay, there's the
on the
article.
stream. So I'll make it a bit bigger because I know it comes up small on the thing on the stream.
Yeah.
So it's they're starting on Friday, 17th of February. So we did actually see when this was announced, like on the Amazon, what do we call it, bestsellers. It's got the Series S kind of shot up because people trying to buy it before this increase comes in, right? So they. Genki, this is to me this is kind of wild, right? Now I understand the logic. The yen is weak, right? Sony's also raised the prices of the PlayStation 5, although they did that in a lot more countries, right? It wasn't just Japan, they did it in a lot of countries. So I understand that. That part I understand. This is the part I don't understand, Genki. Maybe you can help me with this. The Xbox sells so little in Japan.
Oh yeah.
So little that the amount that they would be losing is tiny. That Microsoft, $1 trillion company, can eat the cost of that for the sake of the optics of the optics of raising the price of Xbox in Japan, where they barely
Market
sell,
share.
and they're trying to improve their market share and trying to improve everything in Japan, in this one region where they for 20 years they've been desperate to break in, and you have all these Japanese games on their platform. Like, couldn't you just eat the cost? Could you not just eat it? You're selling hardly anything there anyway. I just don't understand.
Yeah, it's true.
What did they sell last week? 1,000? Where's the thing? 1,000?
1,245
Where'd it go?
or something like that.
1,000. How much would they be
1,000.
losing on each one of those if it's like $36 or whatever?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Not a
Hardly
lot.
anything.
That's nothing. That's like us losing a couple of pennies down the side of the sofa.
56k. Yeah, they'll lose like 40k.
Dude, how could they not just eat that cost?
like
Genki,
a sneeze to them?
help me understand, Genki. I don't understand. Why do it? Like, honestly, the optics of it is not good.
Yeah, it's not good.
People are like, what? Hang on, why? Listen, Genki, if they had done what Sony did and they announced this price increase in a whole load of regions at the same time, like, I wouldn't be saying this. It's just like, why do that in Japan when you're selling nothing there?
What I think is why they did it. Like,
Yeah,
this.
go for it.
Yeah, basically, like, yeah, the price increases were coming. Like Phil Spencer, when he was doing his interviews with like business. Financial Times or something like that in these states, he was suggesting that the prices will increase, and he said like he'll hold off until after the holidays, so people can enjoy the holidays without a price increase. So yeah, I think it's just like a sign that they're gonna start somewhere. So they thought, oh, we'll start in Japan.
Why?
These price increases, and then they're gonna roll it out to
But that's
other
dumb.
regions like PlayStation did later on. And I think it's just a PR move, to be honest.
PR? Can you?
Microsoft are really good at PR.
It's bad PR though.
Oh, but they're gonna raise the prices anyway, like everywhere. But apart from the US, I
So,
think.
but I can't do the US.
So they start in Japan, like no one cares because like the sales are so low and it doesn't.
The
they don't
people
sell
there
that much.
care.
I mean, like no one's outraged, you know. Like,
No, there's not outrage because half the most people don't even know Xbox exists in Japan. But the people that are hardcore gamers, they're like, why are you just doing this in Japan?
Yeah. Well, yeah. The thing is that it's not just going to be in Japan. This is what I think. Anyway.
No, I agree,
So,
Genki.
like,
I agree.
that's
I
why
agree with you. I agree
they're
with
just
you.
rolling out really slowly so they can
Really
have the
slowly.
minimal amount of pushback,
Pushback.
or like, yeah, so like, you just drip feed it out. It's
Mm.
not like when Sony did it and it blew up and like everyone was like fake outraged for a while. So they don't want that situation. So like they're just like rolling it out really slowly. So like, yeah, first Japan, and then they'll announce like Europe
Yep.
later on, is what I think is what's happening. Because otherwise, if that doesn't happen, then like as you said, it makes no sense at all
They can
to
eat
just
the
raise the
cost.
prices in Japan.
In Europe, I
Because
understand
it's
they're selling like millions. In Japan, it's like
yeah.
1,000 a week.
And I know Phil Spencer said they're already losing money on the console sales. He said that already. So yeah, they want to kind of correct that a bit. So yeah, I definitely like, it doesn't make sense if they do not raise the prices in Europe or anywhere else in the world. It makes absolutely no sense to just raise the prices in Japan, as Jodie said. So yeah, definitely this, in my opinion, it's like just the first step of worldwide price increase.
I think
Otherwise,
it's a
it
dumb
makes no
decision.
sense. Because like, yeah, 40K for Microsoft is like nothing.
It's nothing. Yeah, I don't understand it. I quickly want to come back to Kofi. Didn't. Oh god, Demiko. L-Box. What's L-Box? L-Box. Welcome, Demiko. By the way. I mean, sure. L-Box Series L.
Oh, I got my Xbox Series S at the right time because I got it when
Oh
it was
yeah,
like
before
5,000 yen
the.
off.
Oh yeah, you did,
Yeah,
didn't you?
so that's like perfect timing to
Yeah.
get Xbox.
And I understand this inflation. Also, we had a Keycat in the Discord saying recession talks will make people think about their spending. Yeah, the recession. Yeah,
Have you seen how expensive this PSVR 2 is in Japan? It's crazy.
How much is it?
It's like 80,000 yen. Or it's like
What?
like or
What's that in
750,000.
pounds?
Oh, in pounds it's not as bad because like the exchange rate's not bad, but like it feels like $750 worth it for like Japanese people.
How much is it in
maybe
the?
that's
Oh,
why-
okay, because you mean because of the relative. The relative.
relative like spending power
God
of
damn. I think it's really expensive. How much is it? Like $600 right, for PS3 or 2? That's expensive anyway, honestly. Yeah, I think the thing is with
that's
VR.
like £475.
That's a lot. I think in general with VR, like, I think his market is always going to be limited, basically, because of the way it is, the price and the fact that, like, for most people, for a lot of people, it makes them feel sick. Like, and the other thing is you can't market it to children because children, it's not recommended they use VR. Like, I don't know if it's like laws or whatever, but you definitely can't market it to children because they're developing eyes. They can't, like, they've got developing eyes, the eyesight, right? They can't use VR as far as I'm aware. Like children under 13 or something like that. Something like, maybe teenagers can, but I think under 13 it's not recommended that they use VR. So I think that limits it as well, because I think if it was a product for children as well, then obviously you've got a much bigger market, and people buy gifts and stuff for kids.
Yeah, in terms going back to Xbox though, like yeah, I think I'll have to wait until like TGS or to see like what they do, because they keep saying like they're serious about Japan, but they keep doing these strange moves like
this is what I'm saying. Look, let me read this statement. This is from a Microsoft representative. They're not even a named person. It's not Phil Spencer saying this. It's just some random person. After carefully evaluating the market condition in Japan, we have decided to change the suggested retail price of Xbox consoles in the country. We regularly evaluate the impact of local pricing to maintain reasonable consistency across regions. This price revision affects our customers and was a difficult decision to make. But going forward, we will continue to provide the ultimate Xbox experience that our customers expect. Well, that was their statement to Famitsu, translated by Gimatsu. And so the price of the Xbox Series X is set to rise from 54,978 yen to 59,978 yen, right? So that's going from 423 US dollars to 462 US dollars. And the Series X will similarly rise from 32,278 yen to 37,978 yen. So it's going from 248 US dollars to 292 US dollars. For some reason, that one feels more dramatic. I guess because it's a smaller number, it feels like now it's almost $300. So I understand like the yen, because these prices are under what the retail price in the US. Even the revised price is still under it. So I understand why they've done that, but good lord, like, do you really want to be doing that in Japan where they say they're serious about Japan? Speaking of which, Genki, you wanted to talk about Hi-Fi Rush. Can we talk about that for a minute? Now, last week I did talk about this game and I showed the trailer and everything. We was watching the trailer on the show. I wanted to talk about your impressions of this game, and also another question, because I know Kofi had this question as well. Kofi, I don't know if you're here, but I heard you on the Saltiest Gaming podcast. The question was, how has this game been received in Japan? Which I can't answer. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing, Genki?
Huh?
Why are you laughing? How has this game been received in Japan? It's a serious question.
Oh, sorry.
This is not a laughing matter.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah. In Japan. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's kind of hard to, it's hard to gauge because it's only on Xbox. I mean, it's on PC as well. So it's on Steam as well. But yeah, mainly like in terms of the console base, it's only on Xbox, so it's kind of hard to gauge. Like, I think people are like attracted to the look and the style of it, but it's still like more of it's more of like a comic book style. So I don't think it would be as like super appealing to Japanese users as it could be if it was like more like anime style.
I was wondering about that,
like
Genki. It's an interesting style
and comic books.
It's a really interesting style that they went with, right?
Yeah. I'm sure it has appeal in Japan because it's like got that colorful style, but
Yeah.
like in terms of like mass like console selling kind of appeal, I doubt it has as much appeal like in that way. But yeah, it's kind of hard to gauge because like there's not that many Xbox users that I know, but yeah. What do you
Genki,
think?
it's not so not everyone you know is not playing this on xCloud on their phones then.
Yeah. Yeah, not that I know. Yeah, so I haven't seen much like that much hype about like apart from like I follow some Xbox accounts on yeah, but apart from that I haven't seen that much hype because of course like there's no marketing for this game at all.
Right.
It's just like word of mouth. So like yeah, there's not that much like visible hype for it in Japan. But yeah, I mean I personally really like it. Like I like the art style. It reminds me of like Into the Spider-Verse, like how they're mixing the animation style.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course it got that whole Jet Set Radio kind of cel shaded vibe going on as well. And it's more like an old school kind of game.
Yeah.
Like it's not like like the way it plays. It's very like more like an old school, like kind of a Dreamcast or like GameCube era type of game, but
Mm.
the level of polish and like the quality of the animations is like
Mm.
super high.
Mm.
So
Mm.
that's what brings it to like this kind of current gen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool. It's a cool like theme, and it's a fun game. Yeah, I don't think it's game of the year kind of thing. Like some people are like, "Oh, game of the year, game of the year." I will understand
Yeah.
they really love it, but like, do these people not realize like Zelda and like Final Fantasy 16 coming out this year and
They
Spider-Man
mean
2?
what they mean is game of the year so far, I guess. Which
Oh yeah, in terms, yeah, I would agree with that. Game of the year so far,
you can
but
say
yeah,
that like it's the highest
we're
rated
in the first
game
month.
so far this year, right?
Yeah, yeah, but it is super cool. Like it's like really refreshing. Like the art style they're going with, like they're mixing like 2D and 3D. So that's how it reminds me of like Into the Spider-Verse, which yeah, if you haven't seen it, go watch it.
I haven't
Into the
actually watched.
Spider-Verse, it's
I
really
don't know.
good.
I've never got around to. I need to watch that movie.
You have
Yeah,
to get it.
but
Yeah,
I did
especially.
watch the gameplay and trailer of this like last week. We was going over it, and yeah, I was talking about that the animation. Like it looks like they've animated. Like the actual animations are like 25 frames or something, but the game is running at 60, right?
Of the I think for the cutscenes, yeah, but in terms of the gameplay, it's like super smooth. Like I think the gameplay is like 60
The
frames.
gameplay is
Like
60, but
the
the
gameplay is definitely 60, yeah.
so they've done
But
the
yeah,
Into the Spider-Verse thing where they kind of look like they're moving slower, but they're not
oh yeah, yeah,
because of like the
yeah.
animations are a lower frame. Like they did that with
I think that's just in the
with
cutscenes.
Cuphead. Cuphead's
Oh,
like
okay.
that, where like they're
Yeah, maybe.
animated at like 20 or 25 frames, but the actual game's running at 60, something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, maybe it's just cutscenes. So I was looking at it, I thought the animation was pretty good. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
performs really nice, and it looks like yeah, it's super impressive and super colorful, and like yeah, they really like polished this game really well. Yeah, it's really cool, and the gameplay is really fun. Like you can do all these cool combos, and you can unlock all these cool abilities, and like yeah, and the rhythm aspect is cool, and it's not too. You don't have to be too exact with it. Like you don't have, like it automatically hits on the beat, like attacks. So you don't have to press the button exactly to the beat of the
okay,
music in the
yeah.
game, and it will still. So it's quite accessible in that way.
So it would be nice to know what people in Japan did think about. I know it's like yeah, it's only on Xbox,
Yeah.
it's on PC. It would. Cause let's just imagine this game released on Switch. Like, how popular would it be on there? Do you think?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's. Yeah, I think it would. Yeah, without marketing, it's hard to say. It would definitely need marketing, though, for sure. And then I think it could do well. But yeah, I don't think it could. This game cannot run on Switch because I listened to some of the interviews of the director, and he said like the 60 frames was like a big focus for the game in terms
Mm,
of it being a
mm.
rhythm game, in terms of the gameplay. So like
Yeah, no. That
that
makes
was like
perfect sense. I'm just saying, like hypothetically. I'm not saying it can run on Switch. I'm saying that hypothetically, how would it be received? How would this
oh
game be received? Like if it was on a wider, more accessible, like if it was widely accessible in Japan. Do you know what I mean?
oh yeah. I think it would do it okay. It
Well,
wouldn't like
let's
be
imagine if
like
it
a
was on. I
massive.
know you're saying it can't run on Switch. Imagine if it was on smartphones or something, right?
Oh okay. Yeah, maybe it would do good. It would do okay, but I don't think it would blow up the world like a Genshin or something like that.
No,
But I think it would do okay,
do okay. Yeah.
decent, yeah. Because it's still like more comic book style, and like I don't. Yeah, Japan is not that big on the comic
Yeah,
book style.
do you
So
know
like,
who was the
yeah.
artist for who did the art? Because it's
So I
very.
think it's Japanese artist,
It's interesting they decided to go with this style for this.
but yeah, they're kind of like taking a lot of comic book inspiration as well.
Yeah.
So it's like a kind of a mix between Japan and like I know like the some of the designs remind me of like that Steam proxy. What's that game called? That really like crap game on the 3DS. Codename Steam.
Oh, that.
Yeah, it's like that's like the terrible version of this. are like, you know, Japanese people designing like Western styled like comic characters, but this is like the good version of that.
Oh, this okay. This is so that was the evil version, and this is the good
Yeah,
version.
that's like that's
That
like
was the
evil.
alternative universe evil version. This is the
Yeah,
this
that
is
was
the good
bad.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the ideal universe. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the art style is really impressive though, and like how it blends between the 2D cutscenes and 3D cutscenes. Like sometimes it's hard to tell, like when it cuts to the So like the kind of fake 2D they're doing in this game is like super good.
Yeah.
Like one of the best like 3D 2D, and the animations are really good as well. Like they're really expressive. Like
Yeah.
they kind of animate kind of similar to like Pixar kind of like you know anime is kind of
Yeah.
stiff usually.
Yeah.
But
Stiff. This way more like it moves. Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah, anime is like pretty. Sometimes when you watch an anime, like literally only the mouth is moving.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, these that them faces they're moving about all over the place and like it's like a modern
Even, like,
type
the
of
CG
Pixar
anime.
or something. Yeah, CG anime. Like CG anime is a bit more
That's really stiff, right?
CG anime. I've been watching one called Trigun Stampede, which
Oh,
is a
okay.
little bit more
A little bit more.
yeah, like it's not as stiff. It's not
Animated.
stiff. I've noticed that one's not stiff.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
But this one just takes it, all the way. Like it's not stiff at all. It's like really animated, like a Western CG animation.
Interesting. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, it's really good though.
That's cool, yeah. So this game's been really well received, so looks like it's gonna do really well. Maybe not in Japan because people don't know it exists,
'cause,
but yeah.
people don't know it exists, and it's not on the mainstream platforms. I mean,
It's on PC, but like, if it hasn't been promoted or marketed, then that Xbox Direct thing.
Oh, yeah. That
What
was
time
at,
did that air?
5 a.m. or something.
Well, yeah, there you go. So probably
not
nobody
many
saw
people
it.
know this game exists in Japan
Yeah.
because of the like zero marketing whatsoever.
Which is unfortunate because, like, we're just not going to be able to get. Do you know what? We could look at the most played list though. And we've got the most played list.
Yeah. You can look on the Game Pass or for PC, and it might show up in the Steam charts for Japan, hopefully. So that'd be cool.
Played charts. Right now, Japan. Or I might have to like search a bit for it. Oh, not this one. This isn't it. What? Hang on. I shouldn't have typed that. Xbox most played. Let's do that. It usually comes up when you do that. Oh, here it is. Okay, so what you have to do is find the most played, but obviously this is the UK. So you have to scroll down to where it says English. Scroll down to here where it says Nihongo.
Oh yeah, it's not in the top 20, I don't think, at the moment.
Oh no, look, it's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm looking at the most played, the Japanese one. It's on the
Oh, I was
screen.
looking at most popular. That's the wrong one. That's a look at most played.
Yeah, most played. So most played is like it's like everything. So you have like there's some Japanese games they've put in Game Pass that are pretty high up on here. Hi-Fi Rush is higher than all of those though. So number 5, behind
cool.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Monster Hunter Rise, and Fortnite's 1, Apex Legends is 2. So it's higher than all of that. Persona 5 is number 7. And then these look actually in the chart. But the thing is that even though because there's hardly any Xboxes in Japan, so compared to like how many there are in the world. So yeah, they can put some Japanese games here that will appear in the most played chart. Like these Persona 4 and 3 are not in the most played chart on the US one. They didn't appear anywhere else.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, they would be in the Japanese one.
But they're in the Japanese one. But yeah, it doesn't like overall it doesn't make it. Just, it's not a big impression just because it's like only how many, a couple of 300,000 or something Xboxes in Japan. So yeah, but in terms of Hi-Fi Rush, here it is at number 5. So in terms of
really
people, in terms of people that have an Xbox, that would or Game Pass, that are aware of it, the people in the know like it. Let's put it that way. I think the people in the know.
Yeah, definitely. If it was marketed more, then I think it could sell some more Xboxes.
Yeah. So it's well received among Xbox fans in Japan. But like I said, there's not that many of them. Like, what is the total?
Like 400 and something on Famitsu.
I got here. Yeah, 400.
Or 10.
400,000.
Oh, okay.
What is this here? So, like, it's not that many compared to how many. It sold millions worldwide, right? If we just go by Xbox Series is, millions. But yeah, we're gonna finish up. I didn't have a chance to go over some of the other stuff. Like, I wanted to go over like some of the financial stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to do that next time.
Nintendo one is this week, I think.
Is it? I thought it was next week.
Oh,
Isn't it next week?
7th.
7th.
I think. Yeah.
7th.
I think so.
Yeah. So
Not
that'll
sure.
be.
And hopefully we'll get a direct next week as well.
I don't know. What do you think the chances of
According
that
to
are?
the rumors.
Yeah, I know. But dude, come on, man. There's like almost always a direct in February. For someone to say, "Oh, there's going to be a direct in February," it's not a big leap. So if they get it right. Oh yeah, we got it right. And it's almost always on a Wednesday or Thursday. So there's only a handful of those in February because it's a short month anyway. So it's like how many days?
Next Thursday is locked on then. It's a lock on.
Well, I think it's going to be after, because I was like, somebody asked me and I said it's going to be after Pokemon Day and after the Nintendo Investors meeting. Pokemon Day is on Sunday, I think, or Monday or whatever. The Investors meeting is on Tuesday. So yeah, it could be
Thursday.
It could be announced on a Wednesday and then be on a Thursday, or it could be the following week.
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday. So if it's next Thursday, Genki, we have a show on Friday. We got stuff to talk about on a Friday. So this is why we have the show on a Friday.
Which will
you
be
see.
100 and what was it, 16 or 17, probably.
116.
Maybe 100. Well, it's at 111 now, so maybe
Right.
116, I guess. Extra 5 million.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe.
Over the holiday. Right.
Oh wait. No, they did sell more than PlayStation though in the holidays.
Did they?
Maybe it'd be more. Yeah. In terms of units, they sold more for the year, but in terms of revenue, then PlayStation was higher in the States.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but we'll get some numbers for like. Hopefully, get some like. I don't know for some. I don't know what games we'll get.
I don't know.
Not Fire Emblem.
No, we just had
quarter.
a Fire Emblem. Oh, you mean the numbers? Oh yeah. No, because it only goes up
like worldwide.
It only goes up until the end of last year, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's only until.
Oh, but they might do. They do tell if it's over 1 million. They tell you. And I don't know if you saw this, but you know Paul Gale Network.
Oh yeah,
he said it's gone over 1 million. He said he
said it's already over.
He said it's already over 1 million.
Yeah.
So if it's already over 1 million, then they may announce it on like their million seller list. They have that million seller list. If the game sells over 1 million, they'll tell you, even if it's not in the quarter that the financial reports in.
Oh okay. Yeah. So then we should probably get that news.
So we'll see if Paul Gale's right. Paul Gale, shout outs to Paul Gale. He's normally right, by the way. Right. Pretty much. I don't think he's ever been wrong.
He was wrong.
Was he
I think he had like a rumor with the name for Breath of the Wild 2, and that was like off.
Oh, wasn't that just him guessing
But
though? Was he just, or did he say
I
that was the
don't
name?
he said, but I think it was like an in development name or something. Maybe he
Oh,
said something
okay,
like that.
okay.
So yeah, but
Yeah.
usually in terms of the sales figures, like he's always right.
I don't know where he's getting his
Usually.
numbers from, but he
Oh,
be
yeah.
he be
No, he
leaking
knows
these
people.
numbers. He knows people. Have you seen all his photographs when he's at E3 with like
Yeah,
Miyamoto
he's
and
at
all
all
this?
the E3s,
All this, he's at all the E3s until they
and he's got
stopped
pictures
doing
with
it
everyone
now.
in the industry.
With everyone. So he's connected. So yeah, I think
Yeah, he's got the hookup.
if he says it's over 1 million, it probably, and it's believable that it could be over 1 million at
easily.
launch, right? So yeah, we might get an update for that, and then we'll get like Pokemon and Splatoon updates, I guess.
Yeah. In terms of the other financial, I think we had Capcom this week, and they were doing good as then.
With
Yeah, doing good as
Capcom,
usual.
there was Koei Tecmo, which I can't.
No.
I don't have. Listen, Genki, I didn't have time
I don't remember.
to prepare, so I
I
don't
didn't
have
look
all
at
this.
that one.
I didn't
And
look
then
it properly.
yeah, we just
either.
got the Sony one, and
Sony.
we got Sony's doing crazy good.
They're
Yeah,
doing
they're
really
selling a
good.
lot.
I've got so I was going to go over this, but we haven't got time now. But if anyone wants to check to see a really good analysis, I'm going to get the link to this. Hang on. Oh, what are you doing? Get the link. Look at this.
Square Enix one was today.
Have they already done it? They must have done, right?
Yeah.
Square Enix one. I missed that one. So look here.
Oh.
Look at this thread. This is a thread, but I wanted to go over this, but you can read it. So this thread is from what's his name again? Derek Strickland, right? He's done like this full analysis breakdown of all these charts and everything of Sony's financial, like really like super in depth charts.
That's cool.
So it's like of everything, revenue, monthly active users, and all this stuff. So it's really, I wish you'd do this for every company, but you know. Yeah, so we have this, and unfortunately we don't get
He
this.
makes graphs as well.
Yeah, all these graphs. Look how good they are. They're really good,
That's
right?
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if anyone's interested, please take a look at Derek Strickland. Give him a follow. He does a lot of really good graphs and info and stuff. Okay, we've got one last question here. What are your thoughts on Nintendo? Oh yeah, Nintendo, Sony,
Not
and
attending.
Microsoft
Oh,
not attending
well, Sony haven't attended for a long time already.
since like 2019.
Yeah. Then Microsoft usually, I don't know.
They
do
have
do-
like a, well, they're sort of there and not there. They're like they're in this like Microsoft theater.
Oh, they
like-
do something adjacent. Right?
Yeah, it's like
Or something
adjacent. So it's like at the same time as E3, but they're not actually technically part of E3 because you know to
Yeah.
be part of E3, right? You have to pay the ESRB for the floor space and everything.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot of
apparently it's
money.
Apparently it's millions.
No, it is millions. It's
So I
like
mean, if
multiple
you're
million.
the thing is right, J2 Blue, if you're like one of these companies, and the other thing that's put the you know made it more apparent is the pandemic, right? When everything had to stop, and then you had all these companies were like, well, we're doing it. Okay, let's all do direct style presentations, right? Nintendo's already been doing them for years, and then a load of other companies started doing it, and they're like, well, hang on a minute, we can just do this. It costs us way less money, and we can get just as many people, if not more, looking at our products. Why are we paying the ESRB millions of dollars for what?
Yeah, they don't have a platform anymore. Like that's any different from any of the ones that the platform holders actually have. So it's like you're just giving them money for free just to be on their show floor. It doesn't make
Exactly.
sense.
So I
Yeah.
think that's why.
I usually like Nintendo do the direct, but they usually have a show floor
Yeah,
presence at E3. This year, yeah, I guess that's not worth it.
Yeah, they have they normally have an actual thing there, like a booth with like demo stations and statues and things like this, like a full
Yeah.
display. But yeah, so this is the thing, J2 Blue. The ESRB, I think they did a statement, or it was a leaked statement or something, and it was just like waffle. It was just like PR waffle. And you know when they're saying that,
isn't it?
sorry.
ESA, isn't it?
Oh, sorry, is it ESA? Not ASRB, that's the ratings board. Yes, you're right, ESA. Sorry, ESA. They put out a statement, or there was some sort of... Did you see that, Genki, or some sort of statement? And it was just like a load of waffle that was just PR speak, like,
yeah.
we're going to make it the best E3 and da. Yeah, that means this is probably true.
Yeah, it's true. It's definitely true, I think. Yeah. The problem with the ESA is, like, I think they're just, like, they're run by, like, I don't know, suits or, like, these guys that are out of touch with the games. Because, like, then you got a game like Jeff Keighley, who's, like, more, like, in touch with gamers and, like, in touch with the games industry. And, like, yeah, then,
I mean, that's
like,
true,
he's doing a
but
much better job.
is he?
I
Well, the
think they're
Game
just
Awards,
doing,
yes. Summer Game Fest,
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Not
think it's
Summer
very
Games
good.
Fest.
Game Awards is good. Summer
not
Game
cool.
Fest is not.
Yeah, now just with the direction they were trying to take E3 in, it's like not, it wasn't great. So that's why a lot of people bailed out.
I think that's why Sony already left in like 2019. I think they already left because of the direction that they were taking it in and making it more. They were making it more like that they weren't focusing as much. They wanted to bring the public in, and which is fine and everything, but they had them all mixed together with the press and everything, and it was just like it just wasn't working out. And Sony just skipped and had their own thing, and then they've done state of plays presentation things from 2020 onwards, right? Or was it 2019? 2020 maybe. So yeah, and then you look at Nintendo with the people are frothing at the mouth for a direct. People are like already frothing at. They don't even have to do anything. Well, Nintendo people already go crazy for those. Like you think about it, when they start those directs when they first started them, they weren't as polished as they are now. That's one thing, and it's just like oh, here's a big ad of everything we've got coming. But the way they present it with the way it's hyped up and everything, people go crazy. So they don't even need to do. Like Nintendo, you can see they don't need E3. Now the rumor is that Nintendo doesn't really have a lot of quote unquote heavy hitters after Tears of the Kingdom, and that's why they don't want to be at E3. So that's the rumor, that they don't have heavy hitters. Because
maybe they're saving stuff.
Well, who knows what's coming out? Because Tears of the Kingdom is out before. Out in May. It's before E3. So like that would have been their big game to have there. But it makes you wonder, what is their holiday game then? Because the rumors they got no heavy hitters. So what is the holiday game?
I think it's Pikmin 4.
Could be. That's not really a big
I
game
think
though.
Pikmin 4.
Pikmin.
No, it's not a big hitter, but it's the main first party game, I think.
I mean, like games that can
holidays.
sell. I don't know, Pikmin.
Oh yeah, they don't. I think they're saving everything for the Switch, the next Switch.
When's that coming out, Genki? When is that?
2024.
Is it?
Maybe March. If they do, because if they copy, you know, like the end of the Wii U, they just because everything was a flop, they just held everything.
But why
and
would
then
they
just
do
moved
the
it to
March
next
thing
platform.
again? Because the thing is, the my thing is that they did that March thing because they couldn't get everything ready for the holiday. Because the holiday is the ideal time to release something. I just think they couldn't get everything ready in time. So they're like, okay, we'll do it in March.
Yeah.
But then why plan to do that
I can't
same
see
thing
them waiting
again?
until next holiday. That was too long.
That does seem kind of too
Maybe.
long. But it's
Yeah, it won't be this holiday.
it won't be
that's for
this
sure,
year.
but-
Because
yeah,
if it was,
so
think
I
about
think-
it. If you was this year and you're gonna have your new console coming out in November, why the hell would you be releasing Tears of the Kingdom in May? Why would you not just hold that for a few months for the next console? That makes any sense. So that's why I don't think it's this year.
So I think that's why I think they're holding their big heavy hitters for the new console, and then like I mean there will be like cross gen or whatever or
Do
backwards
Mario.
compatible or whatever, but they're just holding it so they can get those sales.
New 3D Mario.
That's what I think. So they're just holding the big hitters if they don't have any this year, like new Mario Kart, new Mario 3D Mario game, new
Mario
Metroid
Kart.
Prime 4. Yeah, those games. What else do they have? They have a lot more, but yeah.
They have a lot of stuff. Nintendo has so much stuff. They have IPs they haven't touched for bloody years that people are moaning.
Yeah,
"Oh, bring
and
the-"
then they'll just release the smaller stuff until then, and the and
Yeah.
the ports like Wind Waker and Metroid.
Oh, Genki,
will
do you remember
come.
last year when you kept making like summoning circles for
Oh yeah,
for
I was
for
doing it every
it,
week or something.
and it didn't happen. Genki, I actually thought it was good. I was surprised as well, to be honest with you. I was surprised as
Last year
well.
was the 20th and the 25th, no 20th anniversary of Wind Waker. I thought it was gonna happen, but
And they didn't release
it
it.
didn't happen.
And they could have done
Yeah.
because, like, they already knew that Tears of the Kingdom was not going to be until this year, so they could have released.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Who knows what?
But I
they're
know
doing.
why, because they want that continuality, but like between, because like Skyward Sword and going
Oh,
into
right, yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom, because there's a connection there. Like we don't know what it is yet, but I think there's a big connection, so they don't want to break that continuity between those two. So that's why I gave up on Wind Waker until after
Okay.
Tears of the Kingdom comes out.
Oh, what you're saying kind of makes sense, yeah. Because if they put those two games in, they're kind of out of.
Oh, imagine like they have a Loftwing in the next trailer. That'd be like
People
so sick.
keep saying that. They say this is what people said. They said in Breath of the Wild, if you have the Wolf Link amiibo, you can bring Wolf Link into the game. So they're saying, okay, so that Loftwing amiibo they released, that you're gonna be able to scan that and have a Loftwing in the game.
That'd be sick. Yeah.
Well, that's just
But so far, like,
speculation.
we've seen gliding in the game, but we haven't seen like flying. We just seen like falling and gliding, but we haven't seen like proper like flying.
I'm
So
a little bit
Yeah, we'll
skeptical
have
of
to
that
see.
because what we've seen is, like you said,
they
it's
can do
falling
that or
and
not.
gliding and stuff, and then like a thing you can stop time or whatever, and you get back up. So if you can just ride around on the Loftwing wherever you want, then you don't need all those other
Yeah.
stuff. So
that'd be cool.
yeah.
I hope they do that. Oh, they had a bike in Breath of the Wild, so maybe it's possible.
Genki, I still haven't played the DLC. I bought it. I didn't play it. I'm gonna play.
The bike's so annoying because like
Huh?
you have to complete everything in the game to get the bike,
No,
but then once you got the bike, like there's
you
nothing
can't.
to
There's
do.
nothing to do.
So, yeah, you're
Damn.
just riding around. Like, I mean, you could like go back and do the things again, but it's not really. There's no like objectives to do, which is
Damn.
annoying.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it's
haven't
fun,
got.
it's
I
fun.
will play the DLC before Tears of the Kingdom. I'll try anyway. I'm really behind on playing everything. I'm like super behind.
Oh,
I haven't been playing that much this week. I did play a little
Yeah,
bit
if
of.
after FF16 comes out, I'm happy if like no other games come out.
Oh,
until the
but
end
there
of the
will
year.
be. Don't forget you. I know you're big into those Sony games. There's like
Oh yeah,
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
2.
is the big one.
although that won't be a
But I
super
think
long
that'll be
game
end of the year.
probably. And that's like autumn, maybe.
Yeah, but
Maybe a holiday
apart
game,
from
maybe.
that, I don't think there's. Oh, if that Stellar Blade comes, oh my god, they got Stellar
That is
Blade.
this. That
and
is this year.
shit.
Didn't-
Yeah,
did they-
there's gonna
did
be
they
a
not
lot of-
say?
And if Pragmata comes as well, oh my god.
Genki,
What-
here's
oh,
the
what are they
thing.
doing?
Here's
Oh,
the
shit.
thing. I cannot get
Okay.
hyped for that game. So I don't know what the hell it is. How can I have any hype or any expectations, whatever?
Oh,
When
yeah.
I do
The
not know what
graphics
that
look
game is.
amazing, though.
Was that in-game graphics though? Was it?
I
How
don't
do we
know,
know? We don't know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I want to see what I want to see the gameplay. I want to see what the game's about, and then maybe I'll get hyped. But
If it turns out to be like Exoprimal, that'll be the
no, I don't.
disappointment ever.
No, because that's like it doesn't look like it's going to be a shooter. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. Are you playing as the little girl? Is she running around with a gun, shooting up
Yeah, I wonder.
cats? What's happening? I don't know. Well, you tell me.
Oh.
You tell me what's happening in that trailer. I don't know.
Oh, she's cat. No, I'm joking.
She has a ghost cat. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end here because it's like super late for Genki, and I did promise we'd
Oh
finish
yeah, I need to go to
like
bed.
half an hour ago. So apologies for that. But thank you everyone for I'm just so delighted that so many people have turned up. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, or new people, and please hit the like button and the bell so you know when we go live. I do normally tweet it out, but not everyone sees it, and I tried the DM. I don't know if I can do the Twitter DMs anymore because for some reason it puts. Anyway, it just groups everybody up, and I feel like people get annoyed when you send them group messages like that, and I don't know how to not do that. So thank you, Timor. Oh, you're saying top 5 accounts on Twitter about Derek Strickland. Yeah, he's really good to counter follow. Everyone go give Derek Strickland a follow. He's like, I don't know, man. How he does. Look at these charts, man. These are super in depth. These charts, and I'm surprised he doesn't get more views and likes and stuff on here. Because like, why is it so low? 26. So for the amount of work he must have put into that. So yeah, go give him a follow. So thank you everyone. Can I put on? Wait, hang on, Genki, wait 1 second. Hang on, where is it? Oh, here we go. Let's put on some Wii Shop. Can you hear it? I don't know if you can hear it. No?
Oh wait, I have to check the YouTube link.
So, yeah, that's our outro music. Thank you. Oh, 4 subs until. Do we have 4 subs until 100? Is that right? Oh wow! Please, if you are here and you have not subbed, please sub. I see some few new people in here. Please sub. We're only 4 away from 100. Oh, there's no sound. Oh, okay. How do I make that play then? It says it's playing.
Yep.
I have no idea how to make that play then. You can't hear that. It was playing before when I did the
It works now.
the
Yeah, they say it
intro.
works.
Okay, yeah. Maybe I can put on some other music, but I just think the Wii Shop channel music is so funny.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So, okay, thank you everyone for coming. Wii Shop music is good. Yeah, should I keep that for our intro? Yeah.
Yeah, keep that.
Cool,
Just keep it
cool,
running
cool.
the whole time.
Okay, so we are ending now. Thank you everyone that came out. New people, please subscribe, please. And yeah, hopefully we'll catch you next week for more news, Nintendo financials, Nintendo Direct. Don't know, the Pokemon Day. Where's Detective Pikachu 2? What happened to
Advance
that?
Wars.
What
Advance
happened to
Wars,
that?
please.
Advance Wars. Genki wants Advance Wars. Where's that? Shadow drop it. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye bye.